Hey everybody, it is Sunday, March 14th, 2021. Welcome to the Ration Museum Bulletin. This is episode 34, and today we're going to be doing some 3D scanning. Let's see, I went live with the link from last week for a second, so hopefully that doesn't wreck everything. That tends to be the case. But welcome everybody. I see Yossi's already here, Corey, Aletha, Marilyn, and Jeremiah, and JW Speaker. Good to see everybody right off the bat. Today we are going to be testing an idea that Kaylin put out last week. Let's use like a microphone arm for this project, and I'm thinking this is going to work out pretty well. Let me switch cameras here. So last time we had a tripod, and I would take pictures, and then I would shift it, tilt everything, shift it, and tilt everything. In this case, we can do that, let go, and get all the way up around on top, on the sides, at the base, wherever I'm going to need to be, we can let go, and it'll stay. So I think this is going to work out pretty darn well. Hey Pete, welcome. Delandil, welcome. Good to see you. Let me know if anybody's jumped over to the other stream first. I hope folks aren't sitting over there. Might want to check, or actually I think I might check real quick and just make sure what happened with that doesn't cause any issues. I had everything lined up, but I rushed to hit that button. I just want to make sure everybody's not sitting in the chat over there. So bear with me 1 minute. Yeah, it says streamed 5 minutes ago, so great. Let's see, anybody in there? No, it looks all right, but I think that just counts as a new stream. I don't know how that works. I'll have to delete that one, if that's what it is. I hope it didn't overwrite the last one. We'll see. All right, so no big deal. We got Nick coming in at some point, and we've got a package here. Oh, let's see. Which is the side I can show? Yeah, this is the side I can show. So this is from Yossi. This is so he let me know he was going to send me some coffee. This seems a lot more than some coffee. This is a pretty hefty box here. I'm excited to see what's inside. So let's see. We'll get an angle of this, and then I'm going to put stuff down here. So let's see. I gotta say, this is probably one of the fastest international shipments I've ever heard of. I think you said you sent this out Monday. It was here on Friday. Ooh, buddy. Welcome, James. Gail, good to see you. Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got... Oh, this is a lot more than coffee. Okay, let's see. We've got instant coffee. see. Well, sealed. So you're gonna have to try this. One Chocolate Road Safet is where that's from. Oh, wow. This looks like pretzels. Gonna be right there. Let's see. Crispy bagels. Ah. Oh, this is already fantastic, Yosi. I was just thinking, you know, it's lucky everything's got an English version of it on there, but this one I don't think does. See, it looks like, it feels like kind of cheese puffs, cheese doodles, puffed snack food. We can use Google Translate on some of this. Oh, got some tea, green tea. All right, this might be, well, let's see. It's definitely well packed. Oop. This is Nescafe Red Mug. Ooh. Think another, is this another type of instant, Yosi? There's this one, this looks like an instant. Oh, the other one's a peanut, this is a peanut snack. Got it. Interesting. I'm excited. Ooh. This looks like some kind of crackers, some seeds and grains. You can see up in the corner, like it's you know, converting into the crackers there. Like a flat bread cracker. That looks good. A couple snacks. Man, oh man, this is a ton of stuff. All right, I'm gonna need to rely on you again, Yosi. This onion rings, corn chip rings. Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! Oh wow! There's a lot of stuff in here. Something might be leaking a little. Just a little red something at the bottom. A 5-grain cracker. So here's some coffee. This is one we might brew up. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely coffee. And ooh, wafer cookies with the with chocolate in between. Oh, I love these things. I haven't had this type. Obviously, I haven't really had much in the way of Israeli snacks, but I've had this type of thing before and really like them. Like layered wafer cookies. thinking this might be salmon. Looks like a type of fish. Onion rings. Hey, I called it on the other one. Nice. Pull top salmon of some, or fish of some kind. Oh man. It's like you did my snack shopping for me for a year. What are these? These are kind of like the Keebler elves, like the fudge on one side, cookie on the other. These look really good. Tuna. Got it. Tuna on the other can. So are these sweet or savory? I'm gonna try one of these. Not sure what they are. I'm gonna try one. The notch is slightly open. Sweet. Oh, these are really good. These are little chocolate, kind of, some maybe crisp rice. We've got additional types of green tea. So we got orange and mandarin, and then I'm not sure, but oh, I guess the double-sided cinnamon and honey, spearmint, orange and mandarin. Looks like raspberry lemon hard candies. It's a must. Chocolate cornflakes was the other thing. Got it. Those were really, really good. See, here's another cinnamon and honey tea. Let's see. Another one of these chocolate snacks. This one's little spears. Ooh. We got what look like bugles. Like a tube corn chip or a cone corn chip. Ooh. We got a milk chocolate bar. Oh, hey Rachel, welcome. And then we've got, all right, so this is the source of the slight leak. I'll have to transfer this, I think. So, this looks like potentially filling for some tarts or pastries. It cracked a bit in shipping, but it's just a little bit. I'll put it upside down for now, and we'll seal that. And it didn't get on anything except the bottom of the box. And then it comes on to something else that's very carefully packed. We're going to need to extricate. Let's see. All right. Strawberry jam. Oh, fantastic. Nice. This is a big jar of Arabica Instant. That looks fantastic. See, I'm used to coffee instant type 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to be spoiled by the time I try all these. So let's see. This one we're going to brew. Going to make a chunk of that. Let's see. Any word from Nick? If he's sitting it out and I... Oh, okay. He's still coming. I have to use the... Wait, which camera is the camera here? I have to use my regular phone as the scanning camera because it's the only one that can run the software at the moment. But we'll get a better phone or better scanner or something at some point. But you know, hey, we're makeshifting what we can. So let's get camera facing. Let's see. Here we go. Pot plugged in. Get some coffee going. So that's looking pretty finely ground. It smells great. Oh, it smells really dark. Ooh, I like that. Enough for about half a pot. Seal that up tight. You'll say in winter, oh, March Madness. March Madness isn't over, so winter isn't over. Gotcha. Is that back on? Are sports normal this year? I don't even know. All right, there we go. We got our pot running. I came in and I almost started up a pot of coffee like normal, and you know, that would have been a bad move. I don't know what I was thinking. Just force a habit. So I could use some coffee right about now. It's been most of the day. I got a little of that jam on my hands. Gonna need to just real quick run and wash that off. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. We've got coffee going. Let's see, we got the percolations going. They are imminent. Let's see. Oh yeah. Weather doesn't really stick for too long in Indiana. All right, let's see. So Nick, no worries, and open up the scanning software. So I had ordered between last time and this time a 12 by 12, a 16 by 16, or yeah, 16 by 16, and either a 20 by 20 or a 24 by 24. I forget exactly which sizes, but I got progressively bigger. Or did I get a 12, a 20, and a... I'll have to double check. I got some pretty darn big foam board backed scanning plates. So the idea is going to be for this week, we're going to stick to the small one that I have. The plates were supposed to get here by today, but it looks like they'll get here by tomorrow by 9 p.m. So, you know, it happens. So I don't have the ability to scan large stuff yet. I think that's what we figured out last time, was that the smaller the better for this particular size sheet. We just have an 8.5 by 8.5 sheet for this. So I'm going to stick to smaller things. And along those lines, I realized, you know, we've been talking so much about all the cigarette packets and all that lately, that I should be able to just jump right on in and scan up a bunch of those for you guys. I have a lot. So we'll get some varieties of those covered. And I want to start doing entire rations where we put the ration down, we scan that, we open it up, we take out all the individual pieces and we scan them. Because I'd like to, in the virtual museum, have the ability for someone to choose a ration and go into an explore mode and start breaking it up and taking all the pieces out and flipping them around and, you know, looking at them. Because that's the point. I'd like it to be a very interactive kind of space. So we're working on all that. It's gonna be a slow journey, but you know, stick with us. So is everything else. It's almost been a year since we started doing these, so just gonna keep snacking on these chocolate-covered cornflakes in the meantime, because these things are great. Definitely a sucker for chocolate. We also have this week. So I'll hold off a bit on that giant box. Smokey was mentioning looking for something that's in this box last night, so I'm definitely going to hook him up with one or more of these. And I'm definitely going to try one or more of these myself. I just checked our collection and we don't have them, so I'm giving it away. So we'll wait. A little later in the stream, we'll open up this great big box. Coffee is looking good. I just wanted to make sure I didn't go too light on it or too dark on it. It is coffee. It's not coming out as sludge or, you know, too thin. So I think I got it just right. I'm excited. All right, so we're gonna start getting some stuff out on the scanner. I found one of the neater things I think I'm going to try and scan today that Steve had given to the museum. It's a Tootsie Roll from an assault ration. He had jarred it with some desiccant because it was in pretty rough shape at the time, and it seems like it's in really good shape. It held up. The desiccant seems to have arrested any change in it. I'll keep everything like that, but I'm going to try and scan that today. Coffee's winding down. Like I said, I made a little over half a pot. Smokey, welcome. You're never late. There's no right or wrong time to show up to a very informal weekly bulletin. So to catch you up, Yossi sent a fantastic package. Let's see, we'll bring this over here and swap this around. So look at that. Look at that. Let's see. I know that the camera kind of cuts off the corner. Like that is a haul. We've got coffee that I'm currently trying. We've got instant red mug. We got instant Arabica, instant Arabica, and another type of instant that I can't wait to try and compare to compare and contrast with Coffee Instant Type 1, 2, or 3. Or everybody's favorite, Taster's Choice. I'm joking. Taster's Choice is terrible. I mean, it always goes bad. It always goes bad. I should open the box now, JW says. Yeah, you're right, because then I'll get into scanning and it'll just be a distraction later. All right. You guys twisted my arm. Here we go. We're gonna do a great. Oh wait, I guess I can use this, but I'm getting all over the place. First, we got fresh, finished coffee. I'm not gonna let it sit. I'm gonna pour some. That is nice dark roast looking coffee. Ooh, smells different than just about anything I've had here. What type is this, Yossi? Oh, so there's 2 boxes. The first box was from Yossi. That's with all the snacks you just saw. The other box is right here. This box is from purchase I made this past week, and you mentioned last night needing something or wanting to try something from this particular collection of things. I'm just giving it away, but let me flip to let's see, Samsung Solo. There we go. So there. Let's see, a little higher maybe. Nope, that's as far as she goes. Yes. All right, so here we go. All right, you call it Turkish coffee. This is one of those creative folding jobs. So, at least one of these should be earmarked for you, Smokey. One of them, at least, is earmarked for Nick, so he can try some of the older meals. Oh well, I'm giving it away. I'm terrible at this. All right, so. Craving those sugar-covered cranberries. Man, I think I've seen that happen before, but I'm not sure. I have a huge amount of those osmotic cranberries, and some of them, they turn into straight-up liquid. Like, everything in them turns into an ooze. But otherwise, if you don't get that, you know, they should hold up pretty normal looking. But what happened to you? The sugar crystallized on the outside. I don't know that I've seen that before, but everything about it looked edible. You're saying you're craving them now? All right, so here's what we got. We have 2 cases of 1991 cold stored MREs. So these were climate controlled up until the current owner bought them, and then he moved them into his own climate controlled storage. So here we go. There we go. God, I hate foam packing peanuts. God, I hate them. Remind me I have a picture somewhere to share. of probably the funniest way I ever received a ration. It was literally in a box by itself with popcorn, like regular popcorn. Just like no oil, no butter, thankfully, but just, I guess they didn't have anything else, so they made some popcorn, filled the box, and called that good. Not even any salt. And yeah, I did eat some. Because of course I did. See, this is why I hate having peanuts. Like that. Already. Everywhere. It's awful. Alright, let me get as much of this as I can off the floor. See, the problem is, and I recommend everybody have this problem that works in an office building. I know the person who cleans this building personally for many years now, and it means you can't be a jerk anymore with anything in your building. You gotta think about, well, I don't want her picking up, a piece of paper from the floor just because I was too lazy to pick it up, In our case, she's a bit older than I would recommend still doing this kind of thing, but she's in her 80s, so I very much don't want her bending down to pick things up if it can be helped. So I'm definitely going to have to vacuum in here before I leave today. All right, back to the laptop view so I stop turning around all the time. All right, so there we go. I guess it wasn't too exciting. Glad I didn't make everybody wait till the very end. We've got 2 cases of cold stored 1991s. That was the big surprise, at least for Smokey and whoever. So the museum doesn't have any 91 cases. I've got 92, 90, 92, 94, 95. I don't think I have any, 93s. I'm pretty sure I have 96s. In terms of like the actual boxes, at least. I mean, and honestly, most of those that I just ran through are full. And I'm going to put at least one full case in the museum's collection, untouched, but then that leaves the other one to try. So there's a guy on eBay right now. I think he still has a few of these. Rip one of these 91s and have a meal out of it. Well, we're already an hour and a half into this stream. I think I might do that next week, especially since Nick wanted to try the corned beef hash. So that might be what we do next week, start out with. Why am I doing this? Why do I eat right before I'm talking, right in the middle of talking? All right. So yeah, we might start out next week with that. Yeah, Smokey. I mean, maybe. Let's see. We've got one solitary band. Put that up here for now. I have a case of case bands. So no problems there. I'll be able to band this one up or the other one up. So untouched. All right. Let's see. Love the future. Just got a versatile wireless walk around camera. Why the heck not? All right. Samsung main. There we go. So here we are. We have a got a little damage. First thing I pull out. Interesting. First thing I notice is that plastic smell. Yep. Nothing wrong, no indications anything shouldn't be here. There's dirt and dust in here, which makes me think that these might have actually been deployed and came back. I don't know if you guys are seeing that. Super fine powdery brown dust will show up on cases that went overseas and came back, especially around the crack in the case. Because I mean, anybody who spent any time in a desert where it's not just sand, but there's also dust, like alkali, salt flats, that kind of stuff, like folks over in the sandbox had to deal with. It gets in everything. It gets in absolutely everything. You cannot prevent it. The tiniest crack will slowly breathe dust. So for me, it's just, my experience with Burning Man and camping in the Nevada flats, up in the northwest corner of the state. You can't prevent it from getting everywhere. You can tape everything up. You can put extra filters in, or swap your filters in your car as soon as you're done. But you'll be finding that dust for years. So, yeah. So this is a 91 case. Production was ramped up to the gills to get back up to speed. It was the first foreign engagement of that scale in quite a while. So it's possible that this case went over to Desert Storm and came back, having not been consumed, just from the dust kicking up in between the cracks in it. Yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah, only 34 minutes. I'm not late, right? It is only like I didn't start an hour late, did I? Or an hour early? I hope I got daylight savings right. I hear there's a bill to finally. This is good, by the way. I hear there's a bill to finally kill daylight savings in the U.S. and stick to a single time year-round. I support it. I think. Like, it really came down to farmers and kids going to school. The kids going to school argument hasn't really changed too much, because even in the pandemic, kids are going to school. Everybody's kids I know of are either going every day or every other day at this point. So, they're still getting up and taking the bus, potentially, before daylight was one of the issues that people cared about in the modern era of daylight savings. So I don't know. All this is good. I need some coffee today. All right, so let's see. What do we got here? The scallop potatoes with ham. Very dusty, very beaten up ham slice. It's just neat how, like, one to one, meal to meal, item to item, the bags look like they've been through completely different conditions. Like this one on the edge versus this one in the middle, where it's all scuffed and buffed. And I mean, this case has definitely been kicked around. The inside and outside, it looks a little beat up. So let's see. Oh. Oh no, sorry, Smokey. I think I was saying over half. I don't know. Maybe I did say over an hour. I'm an idiot if I did. All right, we got a ham slice. We've got another ham slice. Totally different printing on these in the same case. Two menu 8s side by side. You could barely see meal ready to eat individual. and then in a noticeably larger, different font. Or maybe it's just double struck. See, meal ready to eat individual, ham slice number 8. I think this might just be double struck. But it almost seems like a totally different label with outlined letters. Right? Like, look at those. Yeah, that doesn't look double struck to me. That looks like outlined letters versus the normal. And they're side by side in a case where I just broke the glue on them. Or at least I think I broke the glue. There was white glue around the glue, which, how funny would that be if somebody took the time to bust up a 91 case for their favorites and swap out some, well, no, I mean, I guess it wouldn't even be for that. So yeah, I was just looking at this. This is not normal. And it does almost seem like this glue, no, I don't know. This could be fine. This could be normal. I'm not used to the white looking glue. Chicken a la king. Another ham slice, I think. Yeah, a third ham slice. So now I am a little curious about that ham slice because they never were supposed to go 3 in a case. So we got a number 7 beef stew. Like, that ham slice looks weird and out of place. We got a number 1 pork with rice and barbecue sauce. We got a number 2 corned beef hash. We got a number 4 omelet with ham. We got another number 8 ham slice. There's 4 ham slices in this case. And this one is another one of those really beat up ones. I don't know what's going on there. We got another number 2 corned beef hash. We got a number 6 chicken a la king. So did we even have a number 5 in here? We have a number 1. We have 2 number 2s. We have a number 4. Number 7. Or number 6. Number 7. 4 number 8s. And 12. Why the heck did this say 12? There weren't 12 menus yet. Were there? This is a weird case. There's something wrong with this case. Wait, no. There were 12 menus. There were 12. But there weren't. So there shouldn't have been anything doubled up in this. The case itself doesn't say. 1991. There were 12 menus. So this should have been 1 to 12. There was no A and B cases yet. A and B cases started in 1996, I think. So this is a wonky case. This is almost certainly a rushed pack for Desert Storm kind of case. Although 2 CBH. What's CBH, Smokey? Yeah, it's the government. They're not predictable. Well, I mean, so Patco generally is known for having pretty reliable cases. Part of me wants to open the other one and see what the contents are of that. Oh, corned beef hash, CBH. Yeah, 2 corned beef hashes. So that's great. That's the one we were likely going to eat. So now we have a spare. Ham slices. Ham slices might be fine. I really like these chocolates. Yeah, ham slices might be fine. I'm definitely going to jump into scanning. I think we're going to wait till next week to eat any of these. And I'm definitely going to see what I can figure out in terms of whether or not. I mean, I just think this is a rush for war kind of pack job. That would be the most normal explanation to me. Like, we used to see pretty often in the beginning of Enduring Freedom, we were seeing all kinds of just random random like things stuck together. You'd open a chicken ration and there'd be 3 packs of tuna in there and no chicken. You know, like some of that stuff was just crazy. I see folks are still chatting weather. I'll kick in. Philly, it's been unpredictable. It can be, 30 degrees and then 70 degrees, which, it's a little different for Philly. Philly tends to be pretty warm through the winter. This one, we got a lot of snow. It's been pretty darn cold. And last week we got a little spring, and now it's, 40s, 50s again. So I think overall it's pretty pleasant, though. It's a heck of a lot more pleasant than when I was in Montana, which I got to enjoy, but not everybody does. It gets down to, at least in the town where I was, it gets down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit, usually at least once a year for a few days. And it gets into the negative 20s for weeks and negative teens for, a month or more around that, So, yeah, a long time in the negative Fahrenheit temps. But in Philly, it really doesn't get below 0 Fahrenheit at all. It feels a lot colder here when it's like 20 degrees than it would when it's like negative 10 in Montana, just because of the humidity, I guess. All right, so let's get this fired up. We are gonna get a scan going. I'm gonna do some cigarettes. So, got some Pall Malls. Let's see. There we go. That's a little better. Got some Pall Malls to start with. Let's see. I think this one is probably the nicest looking box right here. I'm going to try and stand it up. Let's see. Might not be possible. No cigarettes in it. Most of these are, I think all of these are empty. Most of them I and other ration reviewers smoked over the years. So never threw out a box of a classic pack of cigarettes. There's all kinds of stuff that I'll use for a review or something, and I will get rid of, but never a pack of the cigarettes. Always kept those. All right, I'm gonna lay it down. So let's see. Get a good look in at this while we work. So, did Kaylin get here yet by any chance? I wanted to thank her again for this idea. I think it's going to work out great. Overall, this is looking pretty nice. We can keep it in focus with not a ton of work, up to and including above it. Oh, that's going to be perfect. That's going to work out great. I'm really excited. Okay, so I'm going to start back here. Let's see. Going to want to move this so that you guys can see the camera itself. See the screen itself. Because I'm plugged in, I'm going to see about turning that all the way up. There we go. And here we go. And we got a special guest joining. I need the cheers audience clap noise. Don't bump anything.
Brought the coffee maker in here.
Yep. We had to watch the percolations.
Hey, that's a cool way of jerry rigging up the arm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And we can position the camera anywhere above it or anywhere around it. So this is perfect. This is perfect. Exactly what we wanted. So
I'm glad there was a use for it.
Nick's here.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, not Dr. Nick. You missed the opening of the hall.
That's awesome. Bunch of Israeli goodies, huh?
Oh, yeah. So, grab yourself a cup. Gonna have some of this coffee.
I will be back.
All right, so we got layer 1 done. Let's bump this up to layer 2. I just gotta get used to keeping it in there. This is working out great. Hey, Smitty, welcome. At least Corey's excited about Nick showing up. Yeah, everybody seems to be excited. All right, good opportunity to just say hope everybody's having another good week. Today is Pi Day for anybody who cares. This is the the day of the year that we can all reflect on how much better our lives are for knowing that there's a particular formula for determining the radius, circumference, and area, or a particular set of formulas that rely around pi for determining the radius, circumference, and area of circles. Woo boy, it's 314. It's Pi Day. I guess that only matters. I guess that only really works for us in the States or anywhere that's got the month, day, year format. Because anywhere else it would be 14/3/21, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Oh boy, this is working. This is working. I need to bring this up a little so that you guys can continue to see the camera as I change the angles around, but continue to see the scanning phone. I'm just excited. I think the light's nice and even, no shadows, no reflections. Problem is, a lot of the stuff in the museum is very reflective, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do everything, but there's definitely a lot of stuff that's going to present a challenge, and we may need other techniques, because when I try and scan like a gold can, it just has the whole reflection of the checker pattern in the gold. So that's not going to work. I have a lot of gold and silver and whatever else colored metal that's not going to react well. Putting sugar in it?
No. I just brought it just in case I need it. I'm happy to try the Zohan brand coffee. Let's do this. Thank you, Yossi, for sending this. Saw a big old box in the hallway today.
Still out of view when I go that far. That's all the way up. That's all the way up. Oh, that one's not. There we are. Continuing to scan. All right. That is a huge cup. I hope it's not a problem that I didn't fill it to the brim.
Oh, that's very good coffee.
Yeah, so I can honestly say the variety of coffees we've had here at the office are not like this. This is unique.
Can I see
like
that little Nescafe red mug down there?
Yeah. He sent us 3 varieties of instant and this variety of actual ground.
Oh.
What are we missing?
So, bye, Aletha. Hello, sweetie. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, bye, Tracy.
So look,
But Curious Pete, I just want you to know, I just put sugar in my coffee because I only hate myself to an extent. I do leave cream out of it.
look, Pete, you're right. I put sugar and cream in my coffee generally, but when I'm trying a new coffee, I don't. I want to taste the coffee. I know I like sugar and cream. You know.
So, cool little thing about this particular brand of Nescafe. I don't know if you've ever tried it, Sean.
Yeah. Oh.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, is it flaking?
Yeah. You're good. You're good. It was just like.
Yeah. That's what happens when you shave.
Yeah. But sorry, it really wasn't anything to worry about. So red.
So this right here, also pretty popular in Greece and Cyprus. And I know Cypriot cuisine has a lot of like Israeli influences in it, but I have at home, and I'll bring it in. If you have a wine aerator, in Greece what they do is they throw this in a cup with a little bit of really, really cold water, and they aerate it until it becomes frothy and throw milk in it, and then it becomes a frappe.
I think we got a plan for the red mug for next week.
Yeah. Also,
see, I told you, Yossi, you're gonna tune into us having some of your coffee like every week.
Yeah, we're definitely making frappes.
Look at that gorgeous little. So we're gonna flatten the top on this and let that churn some more.
That is scanning really nicely.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if we understand the limitations and play well with them, so like we can't do things that are too big for this.
Well, we got a lot of little things to get through before we even move on to big stuff.
And I got a 1 foot, a 2 foot, and a 3 foot plate.
Okay.
So that are.
They fit on that? Like you can swap that
so
plate
the 3 foot. So like this is gonna be the same size no matter what. But the foam core board is gonna sit, and we're gonna put some Velcro on there.
Okay.
So that we'll Velcro the foam core boards to it, and we won't need this anymore. We'll swap out between 3 boards.
Oh, nice.
So we'll have, progressively bigger boards for larger things. But the 3 foot by 3 foot board, we can scan cases.
That's
hopefully.
Awesome.
And I've seen people scan like as big as power, Power Wheels cars and stuff on these. I wonder where that reflection is coming from when it does that. Oh, sorry.
I actually think it's this light right here bouncing off of the.
We could tilt these a little more.
And that one I think is the big reflecto. Yep.
Tilt those a little more, not really notice anything. Yep. Okay, that works better.
So you flip it now?
So now we're going to try and scan. Yeah, we definitely want this to be a two-sided one. So
Ball balls.
I'm going to do.
Are there actual cigarettes in there, or are they just the boxes?
We're going to flip. We'll start with the top. No, these are all just boxes.
Gotcha.
I mean, and if there were cigarettes in, and there might be in some of these, like 1 or 2, they're not going to be good anymore because I haven't stored these in a way that would really preserve them. This is just the cigarette collection, which it's a few.
Oh, you got Lucky Strike ones. Cool.
So, just so you guys can see. That's what we're talking about. Scanning in the best ones of these.
So what's really cool about Lucky Strikes?
Cancer.
No. So, okay, it's always been my dream to buy like a 06 Honda CBR motorcycle. And there was a time where they were sponsored by Lucky Strike.
Can't have always been your dream. You weren't alive. I mean, you were alive for years before they existed.
Well, I only want the CBR because it's the only one you can put this kit on. But I want to put the Lucky Strike racing kit on it and drive around on a big cigarette ration.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this very well. Let me put it up here. She's back. There's more dirt kicked up on this one. I really do think there's a chance that this case went over and came back. But this will be next week.
Could have been on a 6x. Yep, that's good old Afghani sand right there, you can tell. Just kidding.
I don't mean Afghanistan.
No.
1991 rations.
Okay, so
Potentially
Middle
Iraq,
Eastern
Kuwait,
sand.
or Kuwait. Kuwait. And that Kuwait, them boys went over there to that Kuwait. I don't know about that. No, Kuwait. Somewhere,
So
I still have to find somewhere in this collection is our Saudi ration. I swear to God, if I left that behind somewhere, or if it's in another bin, or if it's still somewhere at my house, I gotta find that thing.
here you go.
Well, this we can set aside because I'm gonna close up this case for now. Well, I don't know. We can say which of these we want to try.
They're both menu 2.
Yeah. So you know how this is supposed to be 12 menus, one of each.
They're just all menu 2.
We got 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 12. So
Was it sealed when it got here?
it was 100% sealed. But what my
Thinking the quartermaster might have run out of variety.
yeah, my thoughts are war related.
Yeah.
All the time, parent. No, I just
Put it in a box, they'll eat it.
my thoughts on this is war related short supply. I know I'm being slow on the uptake with that swapping out the 3D.
So Pete, we actually have a Royal Enfield dealer here in Philly.
You talking about English Pete?
Yeah.
No.
Serious Pete, sorry.
No. I mean, I got a guy from Stoke-on-Trent. Hey, mate, you want to buy a gun? And
Royal Enfield is a motorcycle
he
company.
does have some. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they actually still produce to this day the same like 1940s British military style motorcycle. You can even buy it in the olive drab paint with a what do you call it? Oh my God. With the ammo can saddlebags on it. Like it comes that way. We do have that here, but it's a $7,000 motorcycle from India. So I'm not the biggest fan of the quality off of that bike. It is a beautiful bike, but it's got a little bit of a way to go.
I guess Corey likes my Stoke-on-Trent impression. I'm gonna go around shops, find ourselves some. No. No.
Hey, Chesterfields.
So we've got some Camels. We've got some Chesterfield Kings. We've got. So these are some of my favorites. These ridiculous, just like Class A white box cigarettes.
Here's cigarettes.
Yeah. This is the P. Laurel Company. So is this. So is this. Can't recall if any of these were something else that was just or not branded. We got a nice old pack of Fleetwoods.
Still packaged.
The Fleetwoods are in this one, but
That's awesome.
these wouldn't be. I don't think these would be smokable. Similar sized pack of Philip Morris's. Let's see.
The same pack of Philip Morris's.
The same deviled egg. You know, my fear is that when I bring it down like that, it's all shaky.
You said let Nick taste the cornflakes?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, wait, what? These are chocolate covered cornflakes.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my.
Oh, man, that's good to hear, James. Yeah, and everybody pray for Fred. Think good thoughts for Fred. Here he's potentially going through something that needs some positive vibes right now.
Positive thoughts all around.
Sorry, I'm just looking down at
So
this.
wait, Yossi, you're in Israel?
Yeah.
Yossi's in Israel? Cool. If
Yeah,
you ever
this-
come to Philly, go to Zahav.
Oh, Zahav is definitely my favorite meal since I've been in Philly.
If
It was 23 courses. I can't name anything I had.
since you're watching this, Mike Salamanov, the owner, which is right around the corner from our office, and he's a pretty cool guy. He actually was it the 7 Days War? That was.
The Gaza Strip conflict.
Mhm.
I
Well, he lost his brother in that conflict. Mike Salamanov, the owner of Zahav, his brother went to Israel and joined the Israeli army. But he came back and opened Zahav. Zahav won Restaurant of the Year, and he actually has an entire 3-hour-long documentary where he went to Israel and visited all the different regions where there's different styles of cooking, because one of the things he said is there's no such thing as Israeli food in Israel because there are over 127 different nationalities that still make pilgrimages to Israel. And Zahav is a fantastic restaurant. But, I mean, if you like Israeli food.
It was rated the #1 restaurant in the United States by the Robert Beard Society, which that's
Oh, James Beard. Yeah,
James
he
Beard,
won the James Beard Award.
James Beard Award. So yeah.
Like Gordon Ramsay has won James Beard Award.
My work bought me dinner there one time, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. And it's always full of celebrities. I actually got to meet James Spader in there one night.
Making up names again.
James Spader?
Yeah. Like, that's a real name.
Come on, man, Stargate.
Like Stargate's real.
I believe there is a Stargate in Cheyenne Mountain.
Let's see. What do we do next? A pack of Lucky Strikes. So this one's crushed. These ones that have the plastic on them, I think I may get rid of the plastic. It's just going to make them harder to photograph, harder to display. ZHV.
Zahav is his sign is gold. Yeah, Zahav is Hebrew for gold. But just if you ever get to Philly, treat yourself to Zahav. It's obviously a pretty pricey joint right now, but it's worth it. And you will
or have some American food. I mean, have a hot dog, have a cheesesteak. If you're in Philly, have a cheesesteak.
I mean, what's wrong with that? My family came here from Italy. I took them to the Olive Garden. You know.
Well, I guess you gotta compare.
I'm just kidding. My mother would have killed me. But yeah, really good stuff. Watch his documentary too. It's very interesting. Also, got a little bit of news. My friend.
We're gonna do this Philip Morrison.
Cool.
Oh, there is a Philip Morrison. Look, there is a Philip Morrison there.
Nice. This thing is Philip Morrison.
Just the one. Which it's a shame. So, like with some of these, we'll be able to get, a scan. I guess there's too much reflected light right now to really see too well. A little contrast there. There we go. Sorry for the rocking camera there. So at the bottom it says PM and Co. Oh, it's busted off. And you can see there's been some, well, maybe you can see there's been some, like, maybe moisture or leaching.
That might be the tobacco oil coming through the...
Most of the time, you pull out one of these cigarettes up to 100 years old, and there's none of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep that one in there. I think I kept that one because it had some really nice on-cigarette writing. So let's see. Not quite ready for that one. All right, so this scan looks like it went okay. Won't let me flatten the top, it doesn't look like. So let me see what happens when I do a combination. Oh, did that wreck it? I still don't know what I'm doing here in a lot of ways. And that wrecked the model, I think, because it combined them, but no, it replaced it.
Aww.
And I didn't get the flat in it. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm sorry. I still need to...
Help me, I'm new. I don't know what to do.
So this is where I do the additional angles. Oh, no, that's where I copy. I don't know.
Is there a separate, like, software you can use to process these things to flatten the top of it?
Yeah,
Afterwards, too?
absolutely.
Gotcha.
I just, yeah, this definitely didn't combine them. I thought I had done the, like, lay it flat and scan again. So I had successfully scanned the bottom of one thing before.
I'm the R7 from Center City. Curious Pete, you're in Philly?
Sounds like it. Sounds like he's close by. Discard the session. Okay. I've got shiny object mode, which will try and take the checkerboard pattern back out. I'm just going to do tutorials real quick. No gloss, no crumpling, same large things.
Sesame bagels. What? It's really gummy candy. We must try it.
Looks like hard candy, I think.
It is hard. Sorry, I should probably feel things. Before I say it.
It's such a shame. The first scan was so nice.
It's really cheese puffs? Ooh, look at that. Tuna.
So we'll do this Philip Morris one, and then we'll try and flip it around.
That is a hefty chocolate bar.
$1973 Food Packet Survival SP. Claims it was an IDF ration manufactured in the U.S.
We have to save this.
Huh. I would assume that's not.
We have to save
Yeah.
this really marmalade.
I have it upside down right
It
now.
smells great, though. It really does.
I love that it's got the little like tarts or little cookies on the front. We got peanut snack.
Oh, that's what that is?
We've got onion rings, bagel bites.
Bagelers.
We got.
Those like M&M's.
I'm thinking chocolate covered kicks kind of thing.
Okay.
We got some tuna. We got some 4-grain crackers. Some chocolate. Some wafer cookies with chocolate. Some fudge chocolate cookies. Some bugles. I'm excited. We'll have a little bit every time.
So I got a little news. There is something special coming from Italy in the next couple weeks. It is here in customs.
Oh.
It just hasn't moved yet because, well, customs. Yeah. But I have a friend of mine who's in Cyprus right now, and I asked him to grab something for me if he can get it, and he got it. And it was something he used to tell me a story about when he was in Cyprus. You know, half the island's occupied by Turkey. He's from the Greek side, but
Freshen your coffee up.
Thank you. He used to get deployed to what they would call the occupied zone, and there, you know, Turkish soldiers would be only 40 feet away or so, and they used to, they would get things in their rations, and the Turks would get things in theirs, and they would leave it at the border marker for each other and trade off. And so this is one of the things that he used to leave there.
I just saw Smitty's comment.
Mail order bride. No, that's a felony.
It's not.
Also, my card was declined, so.
So,
yeah.
border exchanges. Sorry.
So yeah, they used to leave a particular item. Well, actually, can I share it with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Greek side of Cyprus actually gets a lot of their stuff from Greece anyway, and this was not part of the UN humanitarian ration that they used to give out to the forces. But they did provide them with a few bottles each for every group deployed every week. They spent a week at a time on the demilitarized zone of Metaxa cognac ration. It's a Greek cognac.
Ooh.
And that's something we wouldn't drink here, but he is bringing you back a bottle.
I mean, I'll smell it.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I can take a pinky to see what it tastes like, but yeah. I'm not a drinker anymore.
Well, cool thing is, like I said, they used to give them a bunch of bottles of that. But if you know any Greek people, you'll know that they want two things: frappe and a cigarette. And when they don't have that, things get really iffy. So they used to leave their bottles of Metaxa on the border where, they had the little arm thing for, the Turkish soldiers. And at night, the Turkish soldiers would leave them cartons of Camels and other Turkish tobacco products. They still hate each other, though.
Yeah, but soldiers are soldiers.
Yeah, they understand.
And generally realize, they're in the same situation as the guys right across the border, especially with, border-to-border stuff. Hey, Chris, welcome.
Hello, Chris.
Has anybody seen Kaylin yet? I haven't noticed her in the comments. She has to come by while we're testing out the arm. Like, this was her idea, and it was brilliant, and it's working extremely well.
I'm actually really happy that arm came in clutch for something.
So that's another thing. All this, the universe lines things up on its own. Like, Nick gave me this arm maybe 3 weeks ago, saying, I don't have a use for it anymore. I don't know what you're going to need it for, but if you need it, here it is. And I took it home and I put it to the side. I was going to maybe use it for a little temporary recording studio setup. Let's see. There we go. And, after last week, the idea came up to try this out. Turkish shoulders. And I was glad I had it sitting there. So you better give me a flattened top.
I bought the arm and the microphone for my singing lessons. Guess how they went?
I'm sure you could sing if you wanted to sing.
No, I'm not allowed to sing chord order. I can't sing chord order.
I don't like chords. All right, so let's see. We've got it's a long press something. Scan another pose of this object to get more details. All right, so I'm going to try doing another pose first and then flatten top. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're going to just see.
Every time you say flatten top, I think of flat top from Dick Tracy.
Prune Tracy?
Prune Tracy?
All right. We'll see how this goes.
These are a lot of cigarettes. I'm guessing these Newports would have been something around the 90s, no?
None of this is newer than the 70s.
Oh, really? Even Newports?
Yeah. Well, there were no military rations stopped carrying cigarettes in 1973.
Oh.
For the most part. There are a handful of instances where cases were packed up until 1974 with cigarettes, and then somebody in the chat might know, but there were a couple types of rations that still packed cigarettes until, I want to say, like 1978, 1980.
Hi, Smokey.
Yep, next here.
Yeah.
Was just saying, none of these cigarettes are new. These are all at least Almost 50.
The Chesterfields are pretty cool because, I mean, so that's like the popular brand in like Italy and Greece even today.
So, that's a whole pack apparently. Man, some of these went away unsmoked, and I feel bad for that because they're not going to be good at this point. They would smoke like cannon fuses.
Really?
And that's a technical term.
You need to have
Well,
some.
it's still hot.
You need to have some military issue coffee with your military issue cigarette in the morning.
I've done that. I get to say I've had my 1939 coffee and cigarette together. Yeah, I can check that box.
It sounds interesting. What's it taste like?
Smokey says put them in a humidor. I wonder if there is a way to to rescue cigarettes at that age.
I do have a humidor I could bring in. I don't know if it's still good.
So the idea of the humidor is it'll achieve a specific percentage of humidity in the material that's inside of it. So if you put something in that's fully dried out, will it come up to that level? Or is it meant to stabilize something around there that's already around there? I don't know.
Well,
I'd be up for trying.
most of the times humidors are just kept just for keeping cigars from drying out. But I would imagine maybe if you put
I would think the tech is the same, right? You know, it's rolled tobacco versus shredded tobacco, but it's still.
What if you close the humidor and maybe threw like a shot glass of water and just let that shot glass sit in there until it evaporated into the humidor? Because it does have a little gauge on it. Somebody gave it to me, but I don't buy cigars like that.
Yeah, usually there is like a liquid spongy layer or something. Did I put it down exactly the same as it was?
I have no idea.
I might have put it down 100% the same as it was. No, okay, because push was upside down before.
The same.
Or push was right side up before.
Honestly, I think these Pall Malls are the best looking pack because this is quite literally what a real pack of Pall Malls today looks like. Like it didn't change at all.
For the most part, yeah.
And the Lucky Strikes, they're pretty much the same too. Although I think it's really cool that there's two different sized Lucky Strikes. I'm guessing one's older than the other.
So the 5-packs came in later MCIs. The 4-packs, I'm going to get it wrong. I'm not going to pretend. So the little 3-packs, a lot of those came from older, like World War II, post-World War II era rations. The 4-packs were coming all the way through the Vietnam era and the MCIs. Huh, why did it miss that whole chunk there? Well, move you up.
Sloth love chunk. Pretty cool. I also thought it was pretty cool. That stand was like $6, and it's just super. It's really rigid. It's not like loose or anything.
This thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I got the whole thing for like $30.
The spring-loaded stuff just keeps it steady.
I just got annoyed having a mic in my face while I was at my desk.
Yeah, I tried one of those for a while.
Thank you, Smokey. Smokey agreed with me. I'm writing that down because nobody agrees with me throughout the week. So once a month, the little wins mean something to me.
Let's see if this does both layers when it gets through. Oh, it's doing that thing again, where it loses it. I know it's going to be a bad shot there.
The Rockies used humidors on their baseball to cut down on home runs. What, by making the leather a little bit moist? I guess it wouldn't come off the end of a bat as well, or probably slip off and.
Well, you got to think like if the ball itself is moist, it's going to have more give.
That's so it'll be a bit spongier. Oh, I'll tell you what, man, baseball.
I mean, it's whether it's moist. I'm not saying it. Whether it's slightly dampened baseballs or deflated footballs, somebody's trying to get a leg up on the competition in sports. Yeah, all the way through. Ronald, welcome to the stream.
That's why they took away metal bats. 330.
All right, here we go. We're getting to that spot that wouldn't scan before. And then we'll see. See if this is a complete waste as well. I appreciate you guys coming and sticking through the stream when I'm just trying to guess my way through it like this. We'll figure this stuff out. Okay, so we did 2 models. And this should combine them, unless, I don't know what. So we'll see.
Yossi, that coffee was fantastic, by the way. I don't know how to say thank you in Hebrew, which I'm sure you'll throw it into the chat, but also I'm going to hit you with a shalom. So, thank you and shalom.
See, now it's back at 0. Interesting.
Ron, you're a CB? My brother was a CB.
Which means...
Navy combat engineer.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Smokey. Yeah, everybody that's enjoying themselves, feel free to hit that thumbs up. If you hate rations and despise history, feel free to thumbs down us. Leave your name in the comments so that I won't block you from posting forever, or I might, but
Toda Ruba? I don't know how to say it, but yeah. Thank you, Yossi.
See, now I just don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm doing it wrong. So
thumbs down it is.
now it's just a tented, one-sided. So this time it says push that way. And no, so it's still. So this is upside down. Like, I see it on here as upside down. And it's still combined with the right side up one. Same way.
You know what it might be? That box is significantly shorter than the previous Mres boxes, and maybe that changes the position as to where the camera's looking for the edges.
I mean, I don't think so. I think it's just that it doesn't believe that it's that it's a different enough box. So duplicate, modify, AR. I mean,
is this like an old school, like sort of like napalm sterno, or not napalm sterno?
It's just sterno.
Oh,
it's just an old old can of sterno just for the label.
But I mean, is sterno just like essentially like household napalm that you light on fire?
It's alcohol gel.
Yeah.
You can put sterno out very easily.
Oh.
If you spray water at sterno, it will flicker and burst a little bit, but it'll go out.
Oh, okay.
If you spray water at napalm, it's like thanks for the fuel.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and eat this.
So it's safe palm.
It's safe palm. I am just that is a shame. So
it didn't work.
It doesn't want to combine them as 2 models. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rescan, starting with the palm models, and do one-sided of each, and then we'll see if outside of this we can combine them. And I'll mess with it a little later. But for right now, I'm going to rescan these palm models, flatten the top, rescan the Philip Morris, flatten the top, and just keep on going. Everybody's learning. We're all learning. We're just talking and doing some museum work and maybe eating some fantastic-looking little...
Ron, are you new to the chat? Or new to the stream? Sorry?
Well, I got some of those early MREs right here, Ronald.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Love wafers.
You got some wafer cookies?
Oh, man. Hello, Xeno Saga.
Hey, Xeno. Welcome.
Wonder which video game franchise you like.
Doing good, Xeno. Hope everybody else is too.
I really like this because it's not like an overly sweetened chocolate wafer.
Yeah, so from Ronald's comment, use the last of the sea rats. You could have been in the service in 2002 for all I know, because the U.S. military doesn't throw those things away lightly.
Even when they're a little rancid?
No, I think they were still using like actual like ration type C in the 70s. Like I think folks were still eating ration type C that far late. And then the MCIs, the last case of those was produced in 1980, and I've heard of folks eating them in the service in the 90s. So, you know, it's just one of those things where if they've got the stores of them and they seem okay, they'll issue them. The early MREs, you know, they leave a little to be desired. I think the MREs really came into their own in like 98, 99, started getting, you know, some really tasty varieties. I'm a giant fan of the maple sausage patty. You know,
is that like their version of a McGriddle?
No, because
oh, the patty, not the sandwich. Sorry. Could you make a military McGriddle?
I don't think there's any ration pancakes. Now, heater meals, you could use some heater meals, which I consider them tangentially tangentially ration related, just because they're issued overseas a lot. The J&M stuff. And wait, does J&M make heater meals? Does anybody know? 78 to 96.
Thank you for your service, Ron. Also, anybody in here who is a veteran or has served or is serving in any way, thank you for your service as well. Thank you for what you guys do for us.
Camera's out.
So I keep forgetting I'm reading the screen, but yeah, thank you guys for what you guys do for us. You know,
no worries. Sorry, guys. I'm just busting Nick's chops. The chops is the family friendly. I'm gonna keep trying to think of the family friendly versions of everything. It's funny watching this. It like jitters a little bit, but I think it's doing everything it should be. I'm going to flatten this one, and then we'll see. I guess I won't try to combine it with anything, because I think what's happening is it gets confused when I flip it around. I think I would need to be doing it actually sideways or something. So I'll do 2 separate models, and then we'll see if maybe separately we can combine them. Pong? Hey, Curious Pete, on the side, I'm into getting and repairing old arcade machines. And I have a 1973 Ramtech Wipeout machine that actually has a Ramtech soccer board in it, but it's just Pong. It's
Pong with more things in the way.
Yeah, it's Pong. It's 4-player Pong with, you know, a soccer field around it. But you can have, so if I put the Wipeout board in there, it's like just a big X in the middle, and 4-player Pong with 4, I don't know, but just Pong. Old Smokey has a McGriddle video. What's in the McGriddle video, Smokey? Almost good on this one again.
It's a McRation pancake with a McMilitary sausage patty with McMilitary cheese ration. Actually, that'd be interesting if we took a couple.
As an Irish person, I feel assaulted by that whole thing. No, I'm an American. I know Irish folk hate it when Americans of Irish descent call themselves Irish. I am of Irish descent. I think 15 of my 16 great-grandparents were born in Ireland.
See, but it's that one out.
The one out is, I believe, German. And I may be wrong with all of this. If my grandma's watching, sorry, I know you did most of the genealogy research and I probably messed it all up.
Oh, sorry.
World War II-K. That's another name for Operation Enduring Freedom.
Oh.
All right, so we're going to flatten this one.
Flatten.
And it should make a nice model, but unfortunately a one-sided model. So I'm going to have to see what happens here.
There's a maple sausage party from Old Smokies. I was close.
I assume you meant patty. The maple muffin top split with the sausage in it. You know, that
doesn't sound
honestly,
awful.
that does sound pretty close to a McGriddle. I don't know that I've ever done that.
I mean, a McGriddle is just a pancake with, syrup injected randomly. Oh, God.
People don't want to watch the side of your head, Nick.
It's the only part of me that looks decent.
All right, here we go.
Hi.
Look at that. So that's the kind of, well, let's see, get a better angle on this. This is the kind of thing I want to have. Maybe if I take it away from the light, you can see a little better.
Oh, that looks really good.
So these are going to scan really nice. You know, and anybody who's interested, this software, Clone with a Q, the map, you just print out, and they tell you print to whatever size. And the software, I think, was $20 one time. And that enables the high-resolution scanning mode.
We should build our own VR, military cigarette ration smoking room.
That's not what the museum's going to start out doing.
I know. It's a bunch of guys sitting around coughing really hard.
Okay, there we go.
Bye, Ronald. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, fantastic having you. Thanks for sharing your experience. You know, you're always welcome here. There we go. Call that good. Save that. There we go. Now, we will scan the back as a separate scan, which I will attempt somehow later to combine.
So how many small items do you think we have to scan? About 1,000?
Well over 1,000.
Okay, yeah. Over 1,000.
Over 1,000.
So there will be a good amount of this in the near future.
So the hope is that, we can have... So first I got to get a website, right? First I got to redo our website and talk about, all the advancements we've made since I put the website together 6 years ago and stopped working on it. So now we're a museum in a basement, or we're a project. We're not a museum yet. We're a project. So I want to convey that on the website and get excitement up, because we get, almost 1,000 visitors to the site every month, that just leave. So I need to get the page on there that talks about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what we need, and start simple. And then we can start fundraising for our main room and for one more room. And if we have a second room, we can start setting this kind of stuff up without tearing it down in between. And Nick and I both work here in the building as our day jobs. So we can start coming, into our second room after hours and scan a little bit, or scan some over lunch breaks, or, hopefully soon enough start having folks like Curious Pete come on into Philly and do some scanning, hang out. I don't know, but we'll want to scan a lot of stuff, because for one, I think it's more thorough than doing photos of this stuff. That we'll be able to have 3D versions of everything. Though for the museum, we also are going to have to do true artifact photos in terms of putting them out next to like a scale and a grid and that kind of stuff, and come up with catalog numbers for everything. It's going to be a lot, but
also a lot of this stuff is for you guys too, though. We want to make these 3D models because VR is getting way better. I mean, we just we fooled around with some VR museum stuff in here that Sean showed me. I mean, I almost fell over like a lot. But I mean, we do want you to be able to get into some environment if you can't get to the museum and actually manipulate these things in some sort of way and see them three-dimensionally, even if you can't really touch them, right?
And I've found, what I'm working in right now, we're going to be using a piece of software that you can get for free and that you can use without being up. So you can go in with just a regular, mouse and keyboard and move stuff around and take a look at it. And I might be able to make a web browser version. We'll see. So, got it started. Like I said last week, maybe give me a month or two to get that actually. Even I just want to the first stuff that we scan. Just want to have a room where you walk in and it's just there, even if it's just 10 things. Just as a start, because then we can point people there and say, see, this is what we're doing. Imagine how much more we could do with a little more help.
I have been learning a lot more about the WordPress stuff. It's gotten better.
Yeah, we got it.
We have a little bit of work to do. There's nothing a little bit of elbow grease can't handle, and
I just don't have enough elbows to melt down. Ooh. Ah.
That's a pretty cool looking pack right there. It's like something.
This is a pack of R.J. Reynolds rolling papers.
Looks like something you get at like a dinner theater.
This is neat.
Before I stab myself.
Choose OCB for rolling your own. The R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. OCB cigarette papers roll easily and smoke uniformly. They are of high quality and made to give full smoking satisfaction.
I think you would have been better.
At some point we're going to scan these as well. These are
what are they?
These are 116-year-old, I believe.
Really?
Cigarettes.
World War One?
Wait, I think these might be a 1905 pack. Smokey would know. We had some of these a few years back. The Navy cut medium. They're still in there. They went up like cannon fuse.
Oh.
So they were not.
Maybe they were dual purpose.
We're not in perfect shape. Get that pointed in there.
Just catching up on the chat. Okay. Pete, you can visit the live stream anytime. We're both ugly here, so it's fine. Chris, agree, love fresh maple syrup. Hi, Tracy. Hi. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Hi. We do have a tree in the... Oh, okay, Smitty.
Oh, maple trees. When I was a kid, one of the first things I did in the Cub Scouts was go to a syrup farm near where I grew up in the Poconos. And we learned about tapping the trees and collecting the sap and rendering it. And it's a neat process. Sugar shacks. You gotta love sugar shacks.
I found 0-calorie maple syrup, but it really was not the same. It really was not. I was
looking at that and I'm like, so you're gonna take sugar and you're gonna make it into not sugar.
You could try it. It's got like it tastes like maple scented goo. Like it was really sad.
So I found one of my spare cell phone mounts. And did some taping.
It's technology.
And honestly, this is great. This works out. Hey, Pat Miller, welcome. And Tracy, I can't remember if I said hi a second ago, but hey Tracy.
Hello, Pat. Welcome to the stream.
Working in a greenhouse, that sounds fun. Let's see, we're seeing how this one turns out.
Smitty.
Hey man, it's legal in a huge chunk of the country now. It doesn't have to keep being stigmatized. Just saying. So, if that's what they're growing, that's what they're growing. Finest quality money can buy. I mean, look at how great this model turned out.
Oh, that looks really good. I like that it even picked up the blemishes on the box pretty well.
Yeah. I hope I picked the right one to go back to. No, I didn't. Oh, well. I'm supposed to do that one. But the blemishes look good. That's all right. Now we'll do the call for Philip Morris one more time. Stabilized. Or actually, we'll do a camel.
I find it also very, very interesting that Philip Morris didn't just make a sort of universal pack of cigarettes, because the majority of these are all Philip Morris brands anyway. Like Marlboro's, Chesterfields. If you look inside the crest of Marlboro, it's
You're right.
PM.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I never really noticed that before.
Pretty sure Newport is also a Philip Morris brand.
Let's see. So he's right. Right?
Yeah, these are Lorillard Corporation.
So that makes sense. Okay, so I always thought of these as Newports or Cools or something, and that makes sense because that is what they are. They're Newports. Let's see. Here we go. The L or the P. Wait, no. Was it P Lorillard Company or Corporation?
Yeah.
So they're the same. There we go. So these white boxes, at least the three that I have, are Newports. All right, we'll save that model there with the back, and now we'll do this one.
Yeah, I think Lucky Strikes are the only ones that are like a standalone tobacco company. It's American tobacco.
Toasted.
And Camels are R.J. Reynolds. So the black pack you just had, the rolling paper, same brand. It's not poison. It's toasted. But yeah, it just kind of makes you wonder. Well,
Oh, let's see. What did we get as an answer from Pat Miller? Just the regular stuff. Got it. Got it. Yeah, there's some stomping up there. Let's see. Man, I should have made a whole pot of coffee. I was sitting here thinking that we wouldn't get through a half a pot, but we did.
It does really make me wonder, though. Like, well, I guess.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Are you handing me food so I talk less? I know your tricks.
Try and keep this interesting for you guys. So stuff like this size seems to be scanning really well. I think we could go about 3-4 times as big as this within the space, but not too much bigger. Quick question. Uh-oh.
And this is also a question for the chat if somebody knows. I'm just asking this. But right here on the back of this Pall Mall box, it says tax exempt for outside the U.S. Does that mean this might have not come out of a ration, but this might be something that was sold at the quartermaster?
No.
No?
Everything here came out of rations.
Oh, okay.
But that might have been standard. So there are cigarette packs that I have somewhere that are bigger cigarette packs that do have tax exemption for U.S. military purposes stamps on them. But for the most part, the ones that we're looking at here, they came right out of. Well, actually, no, these wouldn't have been civilian issue. So I don't know. We don't see the general tax stamping on them. So what were you looking at there?
Right at the back. Turn it over.
U.S. tax exempt for use outside the U.S. So that was probably, it would have been in Vietnam at this era.
What I'm saying is,
And that might be, but all of these came out of rations.
gotcha. I wonder though, if soldiers went to buy cigarettes on base, would it be the same little pack or would they?
I think they'd have gotten regular packs.
Yeah.
The sundries kits that are cigarettes are cartons of regular cigarettes. I am always keeping an eye out. If anybody ever finds one of those, even if they're empty cartons, even if it's just the carton with the military, manufacturing note, just let me know. Definitely interested in finding those. Because the sundry stuff would have like comfort items, and it would have like toothbrushes, toothpaste, sanitary napkins, etc., and it would have cigarettes up until a certain era. And they call it the Care and Comfort package or something to that effect, and that's still one of the U.S. Produced ration products. So this little rotating base can have up to 110 pounds on it, and it is 90 seconds per rotation. Now, I was tempted to get one with a couple different settings for rotation, but I figured we would want uniform timing for the scans. And 90 seconds isn't too bad. It just means that with 4 layers, everything is about 6 minutes, and then about another 2 minutes to compress. So,
is there a toothpaste sundry?
Yeah,
there is. Okay.
But as far as I know, it would just be commercial toothpaste.
And a small tube.
Maybe even regular size, but commercially available stuff is usually what's in those packs.
I can't tell you what that is in Canadian temperature. Yeah, so Canada is on a whole nother temperature scale. 38 degrees Canadian.
Wait, where is it 100 degrees right now?
Yeah. And why aren't we there?
I certainly don't want to be anywhere that's 100 degrees.
I'll think 70, 80.
So gracious of you.
I'm not greedy.
Still not 100% sure how I'm going to meld these together or if it's possible. I really wish that setting worked the way it's supposed to work. I wonder what it is. So I'm going to have to,
Could you pop them in would the file work with something like Blender?
Yeah.
Maybe Blender has a more advanced feature that'll allow you to
mesh two things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Because actually, no, you know what? They definitely do, because I was fooling around with some Unreal stuff trying to learn how to make my own assets, and you actually have to create 2 sides of a 3D image separately, and then it will mesh them down the middle, so maybe it'll let you do it the same way in Blender.
Look at that. Look at that. Dang it. Keep putting it in the wrong spot. There we go. That's looking good.
Corey, you're right. If something is a certain way in the U.S., everyone else is doing it wrong.
That is the way it works.
I mean, all those people in England just driving on the wrong side.
Oh, no, what did I do? I clicked the button. All right, no, that's still good. Okay. Next, saved. Zoom it in for this. Saved. All right. New model. And we'll do the back of this. I love the future. How cool is this? We've got our locked in little arm, doing our 3D scan. As soon as it looks at this just collection of black and white squares, it's oh, I know what this is. Okay. Figuring out what's sitting in there. Anything that's not black and white squares.
So, Corey, it's funny that you say that. I don't know if you were here for that stream, but we do have the Camel Packs used in Fury. The actual props. We do have those.
Yeah. I bought those. I don't know if there were more, but I bought those.
They're here.
um,
We showed them. We had them on a stream.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the ones they. Oh, the actual rations. So I have the M units and the K rations, the boxes, but I didn't get the remaining packaging from the ones that Shia LaBeouf was eating in that one scene, sitting under a tree or whatever.
1975 genuine camels.
And I got that D-ration crate that was in the background in one scene. So, but that was neat. And I'm always up for that. If anybody ever, gets wind of like any film prop ration items that are available for sale anywhere, let me know. Because that's just another way that we can, double up interest and get people that, were looking for something other than the Military Ration Museum to find out that we exist. Because there's plenty of people that search for movies.
Speaking of food props, that Metoxa bottle of alcohol that I was just talking about, that my friend's going to pick up. In the there's an episode of MASH where the Greek Defense Forces have Greek Easter at MASH. On the table is nothing but Metoxa, Ouzo, and cognac. And it's the same bottle to this day, so you're going to actually see that. I don't know if the Greek soldiers were actually given that over there, but no thank you. Too much sweets for me today. But I don't know if they were actually given like that over there, but from reading up and trying to learn a little bit about it, it does kind of seem like a lot of the smaller forces, their country would just send straight up food as as opposed to a ration.
Well, I mean, so the U.S. was kind of ahead of a lot of other countries in having standardized rations by World War II.
Mm-hmm.
We were pioneering a lot of the packing concepts and the mass production concepts that ended up getting used to make K rations, all that kind of stuff. So in World War I, we were still mainly regular production food getting crated up and sent over, and trying to find stuff as we pushed further inland, which got harder and harder in World War I. But by World War II, we were mainly, as we were overseas, we were mainly produced in the U.S. boxed rations. Most of the rest of the world didn't catch up to that until the 60s, 70s, 80s for their militaries. So, yeah, you would see a lot of just standard crates of just consumables. For some reason, I think I put it a little closer to one corner, because when it comes around, it occasionally misses a layer, but I caught it early enough this time. When I don't catch it, it means there's an entire extra pass to catch it again.
I think that it's the angle of the camera, like cutting it short.
It's pronounced angel.
Different arrangement of the L and the E.
Angles are up in heaven.
Anglais.
I'm just messing with you.
Hello, Sergeant.
Oh, hey, Robert. Welcome.
Hello, Robert.
You missed some scanning. It all went bad and got thrown out, like it always does. So let's see. We are currently almost done with the back of this pack of back of this pack of Camels.
I also remember the Christmas episode where Winchester donates canned oysters to the buffet. This particular episode
donates canned oysters to the buffet, but come on now, Winchester's like the nicest, one of the best parts of that show. In the background, he gave everything he could to the orphanage, and then got all angry that they sold the stuff.
Yeah.
But then realized, like, hey, they turned around and took a couple days worth of candy and turned it into a couple months worth of food. So blah, blah, blah. I love MASH.
Yeah.
He loves MASH. We all love MASH. You better love MASH.
Just un-American not to like that.
It's one of the best things that ever happened on television. 11 years of, like a decent insight into, U.S. engagement from a somewhat civilian perspective the whole way through. Like, which there's there's been other shows like that, for sure, but nothing quite like MASH.
MASH is better with sausages. Good one, Corey. Or it has been.
It has been. I've had those cans of beans explode on me.
I remember I was there.
Oh, yeah.
The apricots didn't like you all that much either.
Oh, my God, the apricots.
It was just disgusting.
I had to bleach my kitchen after that. I wish I was joking.
The particular episode I'm referencing, though, is actually called Private Charles Lamb. So if you ever have a chance to go back and look at it, watch it, look at the tables. You'll see a brand of ouzo and cognac called Metaxa. It's only from Greece. We will be having a bottle of that to show that, you know, they give something very similar to the troops in Cyprus. Funny, I should have asked him for more, because back when he was part of the Cypriot army, he was a supply sergeant. So if you ever needed a Jeep to disappear but show up in your driveway, he was your guy.
That's the best kind of disappearing act.
Actually, it wasn't the what was it, the Land Rover Mark II? Is that what they were called?
I don't know.
It's like the British version of a Jeep. It's a Land Rover. I just forget which one it's actually called. Somebody
Land Rover? You mean just Rover? I don't know.
No. So they had those two-door Land Rovers. You know, we had Jeeps, but Cyprus, the occupying force on the UN side of Cyprus was the British military, and they had Land Rovers. Back in Cyprus, everybody drives on the wrong side of the road there too.
Oh. I don't know what I missed there, Corey. That's not cool. I'm not touching that one.
There you go. Smitty knows what Rovers are.
Scrubs is the only show that Pete's watched that's captured the swings of emotion like MASH. That was a good show, and it definitely makes you feel bad sometimes, along with the feel-good episodes. You know, good shows will do that. Alan Alda got a little heavy at the end of MASH, though. Everything was a little much. You know, around the time that Gary Burkhoff left the show entirely.
Yeah, but he was just kind of paranoid behind the scenes. He was not a very friendly human being, apparently.
Gary?
Yeah.
I've heard good and bad, but yeah, it seemed like around the time he was directing that there were some major conflicts between him and Alan Alda. And, you know,
I mean,
especially by the time that they were doing those episodes where he was just like on the other end of a phone for like 4 minutes, for like 4 seconds, they felt rushed.
I think the talent that it took for directing Gary Burghoff was amazing. I don't know how many of you know this about
Gary
MASH.
Burghoff was Radar, you know, by the way, if for anybody who's not. Radar O'Reilly.
I don't know how many of you guys actually know this or noticed this, but the actor Gary Burghoff was missing all of his fingers on one hand.
Well, almost.
Or except for his thumb and like part of his index finger. But they set it up so that he always had a prop in that hand and that you never would know it. There's only a couple episodes where you could catch a glimpse of it. But
well, I mean, it's in the credits. You can see it in the credits on every single episode.
Really?
When he's catching a football.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There's a scene where he's catching a football, and you can tell. And was it thalidomide? It wasn't an accident. He didn't like lose his hands.
No, he was born that way.
Yeah. Was it something to do with thalidomide?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. But he's also a pretty talented jazz drummer too, and he's still around, along with Jamie Farr and Alan Alda. Oh, and who's the lady that plays Margaret Houlihan? Those are the last of the bunch.
Loretta Swit.
Yeah, there you go. In case you didn't know who that is, that's Hot Lips. She's always yelling at people. Good show.
Really good show. And I honestly think it's a good chunk of why I got into ration collecting, because I kind of wanted to counter the image that military food gets in that show, which is that it's garbage and constantly, mocking real food. But honestly, I think, we've got a lot to be proud of in our military food production going back, 100 years or more.
Actually, I'd like to get to the Smithsonian now that the swamp is an actual
It's a full exhibit
It's
right
an
now?
exhibit there.
Well, we gotta go.
Permanently, it's in the Television Hall of Fame. It's with Archie Bunker's chair, dude.
I didn't realize.
Yeah.
So, like, just that room?
The swamp. Like, they built the tent back in.
I'm assuming you got to stand behind a rope.
You can walk through it, but there are ropes within the swamp.
You can go inside the swamp?
Yes. That's pretty dope.
We're definitely going to the Smithsonian this year at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully after reaching out to them and getting some...
Yeah. One of my goals as sort of ad hoc communication director, whatever, give me a title, I'll stick with it. But I do want to reach out to the Smithsonian for some of our space rations, get them, not only just get where they were, verified, but we also want to learn a little bit more about them, why, because I believe they got to pick, right? Like, I think.
I mean, it depends on the mission and all that, but like, for the most part, they had they got to pick things. Depending on the mission, there were some missions where they got to say, like, a comfort food item or something. In Gemini 4, for instance, where we have our stuff, I don't know how much influence the astronauts had on the meals because they were trying to test a ton of actual foods. But by the time we were talking about, like, the Apollo missions and then certainly the shuttle missions, astronauts started to get to, request certain meals or request a certain amount of the meals or an item or two, that kind of thing. But so for the most part, it was still like a structured, rigid diet, but they could throw in a candy bar, or they could throw in whatever.
And the Smithsonian in the Air and Space Museum does have an in-house astronaut that volunteers there. I really forget which one he is, but I've seen him, and we want to reach out to him down the road, and definitely, we'd love to get him on a stream with us. It would be even cooler if we could stream some of our space shuttle rations from inside, the Enterprise, which is now part of the, Air and Space Museum along with the Atlantis.
Oh, gosh. I mean,
so
this guy's ambitious. We'll see.
It is ambitious, but it would be cool. If you don't think it's cool, throw it in the chat and we'll ignore it. No, I really, that's where my mind goes. I love space stuff in general. So, because the one thing we don't have a space shuttle oven, but the space shuttle does. Not saying we're going to, or not oven, you know what I mean?
I was going to say, I don't know if there was ever.
Or like
the galley systems.
Yeah, galley, that's what I mean. Sorry.
The galley systems were mainly food storage and hot water heating and recycling, and cold water dispensing and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, the food, if you were going to eat a hot meal, well, I don't know about thermostabilized stuff, but for the freeze-dried stuff, there's essentially a spigot that you would attach to it and put your amount of water into the ration, and it will expand and cook.
Not that we would ever cook a space ration that can never be recreated again. But
I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm tempted all the time, but I'm not going to eat any of the space rations.
But it would be cool if we had the opportunity to show you guys live where it would be cooked or where it would be prepared on the space shuttle. But yeah, that's something we're definitely going to reach out when things open up again. Obviously every museum is closed right now, but we have in-flight rations too, right? Like there's so much stuff we could.
I was looking again. I've got oh yeah, that's a good point, Pete. Gary Burkhoff's radar is the only one that was in the movie and the series.
Yeah, and he's also the only character. He's also the only character to have appeared in every season of the show, even after he left the show. Klinger's still alive, man. Jamie Farr. He is, I think, what's he, like 93 or something like that? He is.
I do not know.
He's getting up there. He still does the MeTV commercials for MASH too, where he's still dressed up as Klinger. But that's actually an interesting episode Sean and I were talking about. There's a episode where Klinger trades some fruit cocktail rations for some Canadian French wine. Yeah.
So, I mean, that episode hits me in the feels twice. One, saying goodbye to a crate of fruit cocktail, and I believe it was a Booth Fruit Company crate, which they had for the show. So, who knows where that ended up. And two, just when Potter takes that wine, it's like, look, if you're going to fill the radiator with wine, take the cork out, pour the wine in there, be a little conservative, gonna be fine. No, takes them,
Just breaks the
bam,
bottles.
breaks the bottles in half, has like a third of the liquid left, just pours it over the top, and bam, breaks another bottle and goes to town. Does the whole case just to fill a radiator. Could have filled a radiator with one bottle, maybe 1.5 bottles, and drank the rest of that, but no.
There's also an episode where Radar tracks down real orange juice for the Colonel in a can.
Yeah, he didn't want to track down
Like the
the
fake
powder, the crystallized stuff, which would have been there. You know, there's absolutely also Booth Fruit Company would have been canned juices. The canned juices are what destroyed most of the RCIs, the ration combat individuals. But hey, just to back up a second, you mentioned flight rations. I was digging through the collection and I realized I have, the meal in-flight individuals, but then I also have ration combat in-flight individual. So I didn't realize those IF4s had a completely different designation. So those are really interesting. They're the ones that are the nearly white cans with blue writing. Very, very, very bright silver kind of color with blue writing on them. They're not going to... Sorry, scan. They're not going to scan well at all. So I don't know what exactly to do with those.
Is there like a combat pilot's survival ration that they would keep on?
We have a number of them.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
like, if your ejector seat went out and you were in the ocean, you had
So we
something.
have the bailout rations.
Oh, okay. That's
So we
awesome.
have ration abandoned aircraft, or food packet survival abandoned aircraft, something like that. We have at least 6 or 7 varieties of the abandoned aircraft rations. We've got tropical rations. We've got all kinds of crazy stuff. Let's see if this was one of them. We've got parachute rations from World War II. So here's just a survival. This is an abandoned aircraft. Here's a survival. No. These are all generals. This is an abandoned aircraft ration.
Okay.
But British.
And that would be like on a flight suit or something?
Yeah, this would be tucked into one of your pockets.
Gotcha.
But so the ones I'm talking about, they could be part of the C1 survival vest. They could be part of your ejector packet. They could be part of your just general pilot survival setup, which was going to have like fishing gear, escape and evasion gear, drugs. Can't forget the drugs.
Wait, there is a SEER kit? Like survive, escape, resist, evade?
Oh yeah. There's a number of them, and they tend to be harder to get and more expensive than most ration products. Let's see. So here we go. Here's some escape and evade drugs, by the way, if you want to take a look over there. So,
oh boy,
this is part of the pilot's escape kit. So these are dextroamphetamine sulfate. So this is pretty much Adderall for pilots.
How do you think we stay awake to scan all these things? Just kidding.
Don't even joke about it.
Now we just have coffee.
No one should try and eat those.
Yeah.
I know of one instance of someone.
Are you serious?
Eating those, and it wasn't great.
I mean, they're what, 40 years old? 50 years
Those
old?
are probably 60 plus year old amphetamines. What's from Steve? The amphetamines might have been. I have a second pack of those. I think at least one of those was from him. But I think I might have found the other. It's gonna, at some point I need to really dig in and find that list. In-flight feeding meal. So there's a bunch. There's meal, in-flight feeding. Meal, in-flight feeding individual. There's ration combat, in-flight feeding. There's... Oh, 1 second. I'll be right back.
But yeah, promise we're going to try and get into the Smithsonian. Swear.
Let's see. Food packet in-flight individual. Ration individual combat in-flight. Food packet in-flight individual. And then there was meal in-flight individual. Alright. So, food packet was what I was forgetting there. Alright, so we got almost another one.
That's for people.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go any further because people can connect the dots too easily there. But yeah, don't try 50, 60-year-old army drugs. I also have in this collection
There's some cool stuff.
I have one of these, a Flying Ration Mark II, which in which I have 2 of these boxes of energy tablets. I got to do that when I'm not looking at the light. There we go. So these are to be opened only on instruction from the commanding or from the officer in command. So these are benzodrine sulfate, and they're just another type of speed, essentially.
Are these like military grade smelling salts?
They're
For people getting knocked out?
They're part of one of those era kits. I don't know if these were military or not, but yeah, these are
So like to wake people up.
these are smelling salts that you would snap.
That's pretty cool.
It's probably asbestos.
Cool.
Let me put these back.
Interesting water tube you got here. I'm just
So
looking
let's
at
see.
this
We got another one of these scanned. We're after 7 at this point, but I'm going to keep going for a little bit. So call for Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette.
Wonder if we could find anything cool from Dow
And
Chemical.
for a second, I thought there was something wrong with the picture because it had like all these little dots around. Oh, let's see, that works better. But that's on the packet itself. All those little dots.
Are they little words?
No, there's dots.
Man. Huh.
Let's see. We'll do a tiny pack of Marlboros next.
Philip Morris established over 90 years.
Man, of all the streams for Kalen to miss, I just wanted to say thanks for this idea. It is working out fantastically. Is there a flying kit mark or a flying ration Mark 1? Not in my collection, but yeah. Hey, you got a bunch of flying related stuff last night, it looked like, in that package from Dub C? Or was I crazy there? Combat ration in-flight feed. Let's see. So that's one of these. Let's see. So this is what I'm talking about, Smokey. So we've got Ration Individual Combat In-Flight Type IF4. So this was in the in-flight series, the normal in-flight series. It's just at some point between IF4 and IF8, they switched from Ration, Combat to Food Packet. And they added Individual on there. Peanut button on burgers. I think you meant peanut butter.
What, you never had a peanut button before?
I would think, just thinking about the way these kinds of things would be numbered or named, I would think that the Mark 1 probably wouldn't have said Mark 1. Like it probably would have just been flying ration or emergency flying ration or something to that effect. And then when they made a second, they called the second Mark 2. Probably.
So,
Probably.
Jesse, I am totally on your side with the peanut butter on burgers. We got a spot here. I know you've been there. You've been to Lucky's, haven't you?
I have no idea what you mean.
Lucky's Last Chance.
Oh yeah.
So they actually make
Yeah, that was one of my trying to figure out what that place was after. Anyway.
They have award-winning burgers, and one of them is the PB Elvis Presley burger. It's a double bacon cheeseburger with peanut butter sauce and a grape jelly ketchup. It will change your life. It's so good.
I'm definitely a fan of weird stuff on burgers.
It's so good.
Like if you guys ever get a chance, fried egg and jam on a burger together, do it.
Great. Also, baked mac and cheese on a burger. Not really good for your heart, but good for your soul.
Nothing good is good for your heart. I think this is working out.
This is cool.
Let's see what Smitty's saying. Yeah. Mark 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and Type P, Corey's seen for the emergency flying rations. You know, I've definitely seen some of the more recent ones. I like those. We do have a lot of the U.S. Rations. In, I want to say 1980 or late 1970s, we stopped specifically making all the bailout rations and switched over to food packet survival general purpose. So the general purpose is the non-spiritual, the actual factual successor to nearly all of our food packets, which we had split out. So we had food packet survival tropical, we had food packet survival Arctic, we had food packet abandoned aircraft, and food packet abandoned ship. Abandoned ship we continued to make, I can't tell, we continue to make, potentially to the present. I know we made them in the 90s. I have some 1992 food packet survival abandoned ship, but the abandoned aircraft and the survival tropical and survival Arctic were all turned into food packet survival general purpose. This arm is working great. I am just super thrilled with this because it was really annoying to get the tops of everything last week. And
a little bit of duct tape, you know?
Gorilla tape.
Gorilla tape, sorry.
Very different things. And, you know, not to get too brand specific, but man, oh man, Gorilla tape is a solid product.
It is way stickier than duct tape.
And it lasts. Like, I have stuff that's outdoor year-round, 6 or 7 years in, that's still held tight with Gorilla tape. And stuff with duct tape, 1 to 2 years in, it turns into that, like, the fiber part underneath is still sort of holding, but the silver layer on the top, the gray layer on the top is, like, peels off and breaks away from it because it dries out too much, but the Gorilla tape doesn't do that.
I got it on my chair. Now my chair's custom upholstered. That's the only thing I needed it for.
It's eclectic. A dippy egg on top of a burger is not terrible. Very much agreed.
Especially with some fried onion strings.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly like I was saying about the rations. You generally don't call things the first, you know, you don't call them Mark 1 or whatever one until the second one.
Yes.
So I bet there is a flying ration that's just not called Mark 1. That is the Mark 1. But yeah, no one was calling it World War I until World War II.
Well, that's a good question, though, because there's different, like, flying conditions for missions, right? Like, a flight in the tropics is going to be a whole lot warmer than a flight over Norway during World War II.
Right, and so the general purpose, the reason that works out is that it's all dry goods, so it doesn't matter where you're at. So I guess what they realized was that the Arctic version, the hot temperature version was good no. There were parts from both that were good everywhere, but...
I would imagine the hot temperature one would be good anywhere because it would still be pretty good in the Arctic as well as the tropics.
Well, the thing was, at least with, say, like, modern day, you couldn't take a regular temperature or hot climate ration and consider it everywhere because it's going to have stuff that could freeze and break. But with the survival stuff, the hot ones tended to not have anything. I mean, none of them had anything liquid. So for the most part, they could all be, consumed just about anywhere. The idea was that in the cold weather, you wanted more calories. And, well, you wanted stuff that could get down to very, very much below zero and still handle well and not break.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the Marlboro. It's the same on the back. I'm going to move on to another one. Oh, I did the plastic wrapped one, and I should have done the one without plastic. We'll see. We'll see how it all turns out. I'm going to do a pack of Lucky Strikes next.
It's 3D toasted.
It's 3D toasted.
Just out of curiosity, don't we have some sort of like flight museum here in PA? I know we have.
We have all kinds of things.
We have the Franklin Institute, and they do have some space stuff there.
I'm a little too focused on our own to like go to others.
Well, no, it's just
We need to.
I'd like to think that the community of museums supports each other, but I don't know if that's how it is. But I would assume so. That
There are definitely associations, and for a little while years ago, I joined a few, and we will join them again. It's just that they all have dues and requirements.
Yeah.
So for right now, but there's the American Association of Museums,
Mm-hmm.
And then most states have their own associations.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, we are going to have to get to know each other because, especially war museums and ration-related stuff, like the U.S. Quartermaster's Museum, we're going to get to know them. I'm sure rations are a part of what they do, but there's a lot more that goes into the Quartermaster Corps. The Quartermasters are in charge of your uniforms, your boots, your tents, your everything that the soldiers need for their day-to-day, in addition to the rations.
We have to move our office. It should be in Quartermaster Plaza.
Where the heck is that?
That's 24th and Oregon. It's literally the old United States Army Quartermaster base.
Oh, I'll have to check that out, too.
Yeah. We also have really cool stuff here. I mean, we got the Philadelphia Navy Yard that's literally just packed with... We have the USS John F. Kennedy here. So, just if you want to go and see some cool stuff, just walk through the Navy Yard.
I mean, just there's whole chunks of Philly where you can just go look at, 50 years of warship history. Considered the mothball fleet. We've got the mothball fleet here.
We also have the last existing warship from the Great White Fleet. Right there. We have the Olympia. It was Admiral, not World War I Admiral.
I don't know.
Dewey. It was his flagship. And we also have the Bakuna, which was a World War II and Korean War submarine. And we also have the battleship New Jersey, which was the first, it's an Iowa-class battleship, but it was the first battleship to be equipped with nuclear ordnance. Yep, Curious Pete, you just caught me on the New Jersey. But I think it's one of the coolest things. If you have never seen an aircraft carrier, now mind you, aircraft carriers now are much bigger, but just go to the Navy Yard and walk under the USS JFK and just be in shock at the awe. I'm serious. I mean, have you been under it? Okay.
I haven't, but some of these old ships, I took my drone out and I filmed, front to back the SS United States.
Yeah.
And it's just huge.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go do the, no, I can't. I can't do the JFK because it's within the perimeter of no fly for the Philly airport.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I don't know about the rules about flying over the Navy Yard, but
that might be something down the road
that
too.
we could ask.
Yeah, we could say, hey, we're a museum and we would like to document it. I mean, think about the rations on that thing. Could you imagine what has to go on that ship to feed 3,000 people for 6 months?
Fresh and frozen food, cooked in a galley.
Yeah.
There's very few naval rations.
But yeah, it would be really cool. And the SS United States, their headquarters is across the street from us. So,
and we have a ration that is tagged SS United States.
Really?
Yeah. That I want to ask them about eventually, but their offices have been closed through the whole pandemic.
Really? I see people going in and out of there all the time. You can see their offices are open and people are working in there.
Okay, we'll have to check them out because they were closed for a while. See if they have any. So it was a souvenir. They sold them on the ship, but it was just a general at-home kind of bunker ration about this big.
Gotcha.
That had a lot of, I think it had the Hershey's Tropical bars in it or something.
Pete, you're right. The USS United States was sort of developed between the government and private industry. I know it did operate as a troop transport to bring people home from Vietnam, I want to say. But, I mean, that ship still holds records. Unfortunately, it's just kind of...
I know Bill Clinton took it to Oxford. They like to tout that one.
Really?
Like,
yeah, I mean... Dude,
when he was a 20-year-old.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the
Kennedys... Because it did used to run as an actual, like, liner.
Yeah, it was a liner. So there's a guy here by the name of Lenfest. I think his son's taking it over now, but that family, they purchased the ship for like $8 million. You know, it's not really worth a lot because the entire ship has been gutted. Anyway, there's no engine room. They sold the propellers. And, you know, plenty of people have come along to try and save that ship. I think Norwegian Cruise Lines wanted to buy it at one point for like $50 million.
It has actually been bought and then unbought.
Because when cruise lines buy it, and the thing is, right, like cruise lines, people want balconies and stuff like that. And when they looked at the cost to like rebuild the ship to what it was versus the cost it would take to turn it into a modern cruise ship, it was in the, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars. And it wouldn't have been the same ship. You would have essentially just cut all the metal. The top half of the hull would have been gone. It would not have been, you know, itself. But I do believe that still has the record for the fastest steamship journey to New York to London from New York, or it might be the other way around. But really, really cool ship, you know. And yes, it is built at the dawn of the jet age. But honestly, I mean, if I was a billionaire, I would turn that thing into my yacht. I would just live on it. I don't, you know. There people wanted to turn it into like a floating condo, a casino, but you know that wouldn't really be doing it justice. But it is here.
I want more snacks. Let's see. I'm gonna have another one of these.
Want to have some more cornflakes? These cornflakes are awesome. By the way, I would totally eat an actual bowl of these. Like this would be a great cereal. I don't care. It wouldn't be good for me, but who cares?
I don't even want to know how many calories a full bowl of that would be.
The whole bag is $4.83.
So a bowl of that would be 2,000 or 3,000.
Mm-hmm. Which is fine. This is a pretty hefty chocolate bar.
Oh, this arm is working great. Goodbye, bit.
Levee fixed in flood tide?
The USS New Jersey has a museum channel on YouTube. That's neat.
Yep.
Are they still working on like restoration work, or is it that they mainly follow the events and stuff?
I don't know. I haven't watched it myself. We also just as kind of you put me onto it. We also actually have we have a maritime museum right here at Penn's Landing. We have the Pennsport Seaport Museum, and no, they might have some knowledge to share with us too. I mean, there's so many places that we can approach. Just in Philly, I feel like Philly is a great museum.
Philly is a history town.
Yeah.
That's believe me, there's the part of me that knows or that wants to leave Philly again, and there's the part of me that knows that the museum has a pretty good home here in the long term, especially with the way everything's changing with the apocalypse and all that. So the idea of cities being a place where people work for like high tech and that kind of stuff is gonna die. But I see cities as still being relevant for people coming for culture. So Philly is a great representation of a particular chunk of U.S. culture, and I can definitely see people still coming here long after all the big tech companies and everything else leave. For the nation's history, for all the places that I'm not going to run through them all again. There's so many things within a couple blocks of us, but we're definitely in a fantastic city for history and appreciation thereof. And it's all American history, so it's like a couple weeks ago, pretty much, in the grand scheme of things. Compared to like a history museum in Germany might have stuff going back 3,000 years, or same thing with most of Europe and the Middle East and et cetera, where there's human culture and history going back thousands of years.
This one, honestly, I think the reason why we're in such a great area is, number one, this is Philadelphia. This is the cradle of the United States. This is where the U.S. was born. Right around the corner, we have.
I've run through it 100 times on stream.
I know, but you just can't get over it. We literally have the Old City Tavern where like the founding fathers would sit and have their beer, and talk business.
And it closed its doors in the apocalypse.
Well, it did, but it's still
it was only, that version of it was only open for like 18 or 19 years, and before that it was closed for 20 plus years, and then it was open before that for a little bit. It's a building that changes hands and is occasionally still a bar, but the building itself still stands.
It's run by the National Park Service. I'm pretty sure whoever runs it rents it from them or something like that, because we constantly have National Park Rangers going in and out of that building. But just around here, you can see Ben Franklin's house. They even have his privy pit, so if you want to see his toilet, that's cool too.
That direction.
Sorry, big TV here. Way easier to see the stream. But
I did put the laptop here 1 week just to make it easier. But
yeah, thanks a lot. You know what? Maybe we should get like a TV mounted camera so I can talk to the TV at some point.
We could do something.
But yeah, like we just have really cool stuff. The Franklin Institute, if you like museums that have like a little bit of everything, it's really cool. They have like their own small little air and space museum. They do have one of the original Wright brothers planes in there. I think there were like 6 that they originally made. They have one hanging up in that museum, so you don't need to go to the Smithsonian to see one if you're in Philly. They actually have F4 Phantom on stilts with stairs that you could go up to the cockpit and you could sit in that plane, or at least you used to be able to. I don't know if they closed it off now. They have an actual like locomotive in the museum that works. You can actually ride the locomotive in the museum. There's different science experiments. There's a science side of the museum where you can actually participate in different science experiments that the museum is running. There's a brain room. You can walk through a brain and see real brains.
Which reminds me of the Mutter Museum, which if you're ever in
that's
Philly,
awesome too.
If you're ever in Philly for a history and exploration kind of trip, check out the Mutter Museum on Penn's campus. Medical oddities. That's a great one.
I like the woolly mammoth.
There's a lot of brains and skulls and that kind of stuff in their collection.
Yes, Pete, the heart is there too.
Oh yeah, the heart and the Franklin Institute.
And they have real hearts in jars that you can just in case, you know. But yeah, there's so much cool stuff there. Just that, and that's just one museum. I mean, the art museum. If you like giving yourself chest pains, you could always do the Rocky Run. I don't do the running, so I will not be participating in that. But the art museum is just, I mean, it's a behemoth of a museum.
Yeah, the Philly Art Museum is really big, and they have, a lot of neat stuff in there. There's an entire Japanese shrine or temple or whatever it was, just piece by piece, moved and rebuilt. There's a couple things.
They have armor, like a whole wing of the museum just devoted to armor that different countries used back.
Don't they have one of Henry VIII's breastplates in there?
I think so.
It's massive. It's like.
And the truth is, Henry VIII wasn't that big of a guy. He was just really skinny. But way back then, apparently it was more attractive for men to be like bigger and fatter because it meant you were like healthy and wealthy, sort of deal. So all of his paintings are actually huge exaggerations.
Well, I mean, if that was his armor, it's pretty big. It's kind of like, well, that's funny because there's another thing that they would do in like the Victorian and Tudor era and whatnot. They would paint you with a goiter. Because it meant you had a lot of salt in your diet, which meant you were rich.
Oh.
So you might have like a growth on your neck, which was a sign of wealth for a little while.
So, Pete, I understand your struggle going through the heart. So just to put it in perspective, my first time I went and visited the heart with my aunt, I was like 8 years old. And you don't know how loud the like thumping sound that they pump into that heart is. Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's a giant heart you can walk through in the Smithsonian Institute.
No, Franklin Institute.
Franklin Institute.
Yeah,
sorry,
so Robert, they have a heart that you can literally walk through every chamber of the human heart and see what it looks like from the inside. It's really cool. Sorry, I keep looking at the TV. But my aunt took me when I was 8, but it's so loud, just the like, doom, 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 And, well, I got really scared and I ran out of the heart. But yeah, you can go out. There's, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a pendulum bike. And basically, you'd go to the 3rd floor of the museum, and it overhung the lobby of the museum. And there was a gigantic net there for safety, but there was essentially just this gigantic cable running across the museum while you're suspended about 100 feet up. And there's a bike with a gigantic steel pendulum, and they strap you in, and you can ride this bike across the museum. There is a net under you, so if you fell, you'd be caught. Nothing would happen to you. But I mean, that was pretty cool. People used to freak out on that thing. And they, believe it or not, they do sell one of the cool things, the first time I ever tried like some sort of ration type food, and I didn't really know it until I met Sean.
Don't tell me it's the astronaut ice cream. Every damn museum.
Yes, it is. It was astronaut strawberry ice cream.
Every museum in this country. It's required. It's like, oh, you have a museum. What's it about? Well, it's mostly about indigenous peoples in New Mexico in the 1600s. Cool. You're gonna have astronaut ice cream. Well, we weren't really. Well, then it's not a gift shop. No, I mean everywhere I've gone, that's what they have. But
Pete,
yeah, freeze-dried stuff.
Pete, I think you're right. It might have been in the science room. Also, we have, aside from the one at Universal Studios, it is the 2nd largest IMAX dome theater in the world. And I saw.
Oh, that's where I saw Superman.
Yes, I saw The Dark Knight there. Totally different way to watch a movie.
I haven't been back. That was the last thing I saw there was Superman with Man of Steel.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
I saw Dark Knight.
Not the one. I saw the Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor one, whenever that was. So not the one with Superman killing like 10 million people and breaking most of the planet, but the one that made a little more sense before that.
I also saw Dunkirk there.
Oh.
I know a lot of people didn't like Dunkirk.
I thought Dunkirk was great. You don't have to have everything doesn't have to be glorious and all that in terms of war. There's a lot of war stories that are somber. And
yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize that Dunkirk was a bunch of guys waiting to get off of a beach, and I don't know. The talent in that movie was fantastic. Ballad Dunkirk's really.
I need to see, what is it, Darkest Hour? There was a there was a William Churchill movie at the same time. Or, sorry, Winston Churchill. There was a Winston Churchill movie biopic with Gary Oldman at the same time
Really?
as Dunkirk, and somebody's cut the two together because they're the same moment. So like they would be talking about like, you know, trying to get everything lined up to save these people in one of them, and you know the actual end result of it in the other one. So there is a cut where the two movies are smashed together. I can't remember if it's Darkest Hour, something like that.
By the way, hi Peter. We didn't miss you. You know, we didn't forget about you.
Pete Peter.
Oh,
hey, Pete Peter.
Oh, Pete Peter. Sorry.
Good to see you. And Tim, I don't think I said hi to you.
Hello to everyone if we missed you. But yeah, really cool stuff. And that's just one, you know. We have the Revolutionary War Museum. That's down the street from us too, you know. I think you probably have to spend at least a good couple months in Philly to hit every museum, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here for years and I haven't seen it all.
Yeah.
We are running a little late on this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, it's almost 8.
Yeah.
Well, I got some progress here and I don't want to stop.
We can do one more.
We can do,
or however many more we have.
well, let's see, we've done Camels, Palmos, Newports, Marlboros, Lucky Strikes.
Have we done that Chesterfield?
We did this Chesterfield.
But not the Camel.
We haven't done a small pack of these. And we haven't done a small pack of the Palmos either. I'm going to ditch this plastic. It's already broken.
Well, that came off pretty easy.
Broken, it's yellowing. And some of the plastic actually restricts the packs a little.
The less curious one.
Let's see, actually, I'll put this to the side right now and do one of these Class A white box ones.
Sean, Corey would like you to know that the box headed for the museum is being picked up by FedEx tomorrow.
Ooh, FedEx. Okay, that's actually a pretty good sign coming from overseas. They're
yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Their delivery guy here finally has a key to our building.
Oh, okay.
So as of 2 or 3 weeks ago, we caught him. We explained how our building works. We explained the difference between ourselves and the apartment next door, and we gave him a key.
And he still left Brian's box outside when I got here.
All right, don't say that kind of stuff. We're good. It'll be good. We're in here. I mean, I'm in here 6 days a week now, so.
I mean, you're way more efficient than my people in Europe, Corey, because I've asked them twice to send something by FedEx or DHL, but they keep sending it post Italiane, which means it's going to take like 50 days just before it leaves the port of Genoa.
I don't know what you used, Yossi, but wow.
Yeah, that was EMS.
4 days.
EMS.
4 days.
Is that EMS is the one I saw the slip. Yeah, EMS. Other side.
EMS. IsraelPost.co.il. That made it here in no time. Constantly moving just out of view. That's this stream for you. There we go. Scanning a nondescript white box.
Lasagna LRP?
I'm sending him a 1998 LRP. I forget if that was 98 or in 2005. Whichever one, we'll double check. But yeah, sending him a lasagna LRP. And a bunch of other stuff. Including sending back to the UK some of those cans that we got from the 10-man compo ration, the British one that we opened up, the British 2 that we opened up maybe a month or 2 ago, 2 months ago.
Mucho interesante.
Yeah, so I had broken them down into what was actually into the, it was supposed to be in the cases, and we have a huge heap of stuff that wasn't. So those are all trading fodder.
Gotcha.
So he's getting a steak and kidney pie, some margarine, and some cheese.
Israelis love the United States.
Well, that's good.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to give us some love. No, that's great. Yeah, I would like to get to Israel someday, and a lot of places in the world. There's I feel like there's always been a pretty solid friendship between the U.S. and Israel.
So Yossi, but my buddy at his Cypriot restaurant, there's obviously a lot of Israeli cooking involved in Cypriot food because they're so close. He makes a killer shakshuka, and I don't know if you're a big fan of that, or you can even. I keep not looking at this camera. Shakshuka, awesome. It's a pepper stew. I myself love it. He also, I think it's called halva bread. It's like bread covered in like or it's like painted with sort of like a sesame. I want to say like a sesame, not marmalade, sort of like a honey sort of thing. Like, and they bake the bread. But it's pretty dope. Hey, Dub C, what's up, dude?
Oh, hey, welcome. Yeah, I'm going a bit late today, so I hope that works out for some folks that generally can't make it before we cut off. We are scanning cigarette packs today, bit by bit by bit. Each one takes about 8 minutes. But they are coming out as really nice, clean scans. I'm very happy with them. Like that tiny little Class A writing will be able to read pretty well.
Oh, you're a cook, Yossi. Okay, awesome. Well, then you should definitely watch Mike Salmanov's documentary on Netflix. I forget what it's called, but it's like its own Chef's Table episode just for like 2.5 hours. So definitely check it out. He's actually a really nice guy. I've gotten to meet him. I had friends that worked for him. He also has a few other, Israeli and kosher restaurants here. But he's definitely. I think his restaurant is actually certified as like a cultural institution by UNESCO.
I don't know.
Yeah, which is pretty.
You look at me sometimes like I'm going to have this
I'm just trying to make sure I bounce the conversation off of everybody. It's great to make Sean feel awkward on camera.
I feel awkward. That's all right. We're all friends here, right?
When you're not here and I ask Sean a question, he goes, "Oh, wait, let me stop. Beep, boop, beep. Computing."
He asks me stuff like I'm going to know the answer to everything in the world. So, yeah, I'm like, think I'm a robot or something? Hey, what did I send you back the other day? There was something.
Yeah, I saw it on the Discord. Hold on.
Probably was Bethesda stuff.
Yeah. Beep, boop, beep. Computing.
Because it was funny. You asked me about that. I'm like, I have no idea. Then, like, less than a day later, I watched an interview on it.
Yeah, I watched the roundtable.
Yeah, that was nice to see Todd Howard admit a few things about the launch of Fallout 76.
Yeah. I mean, look.
All right, here we go.
The boys at Microsoft gave him $7.5 billion. He's going to say whatever they put on the teleprompter. Okay.
$7.5 billion for a video game company. Oh my God. Okay. So, what do you guys think? One more? We still have a couple that we haven't scanned here. Part of me wants to just get through the scanning.
Let's do it.
We have a 3-wide pack of Lucky Strikes, a pack of Pall Malls, a pack of Fleetwoods, and then we're good. Oops, thank you, sir.
Oh my God. I'm old.
I got that one.
Is there a back brace ration available? Did they ever provide that?
There are medical supplement things, like there's dental rations, there's...
Well, like a lidocaine syringe or something?
Yeah, the dental kit is like a dental surgery kit kind of thing. So it comes with, it's a ration kit. So it's liquefied foods that are in powdered form that you cook back. I mean, that you rehydrate. It's juices and drinks and stuff. It's
Does it have like forceps in it to pull a tooth out?
no.
Oh.
I mean, it's the food. It's the food that
Oh,
goes.
so it's like
It's like a hospital feeding kind of.
If you were to have just had dental surgery, they would have provided you with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I always want to get. I mean, I'm always looking for them. There's a lot of stuff like that just, it's hard to find. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
There's a lot of stuff like that that's just hard or impossible to find because it's not made in enough of a quantity that you run into it.
Mm.
Oh, let me flip that. Let's see, which side do we want to get here?
Dental food.
Tax exempt for use of U.S., not to be sold. So that's the kind of military specific stamping I'm talking about. Well, let's see. So you need to get that side, but yeah, I will do that side for this one.
That must be interesting. It's like, yeah, you just got your tooth pulled. Here's some freeze-dried applesauce. I would actually imagine that freeze-dried food would probably be acceptable because as long as you like wet it up, like once you actually eat it. But that's pretty cool that they thought of that too. Like this guy just got his teeth yanked out. So yeah.
Bit by bit by bit. Now this one I'm leaving in the plastic, so it'll scan a little weird. That's all right. Fleetwood Standard.
What makes that?
The Axton Fisher Tobacco Company of Louisville, Kentucky.
I wonder how many like pop-up.
The safer smoke.
Oh. I wonder how many like pop-up tobacco companies like came out back in the day when like all the big boy brands had to sell to the military, you know?
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, what were people smoking at home if most of the production cigarettes were going overseas? If that was even the case. Because generally, you got to think, cigarette companies are used to making tens of millions of something.
Mm-hmm.
So they might not have been too affected because the same people are smoking, whether they're here or not. So they were already making enough for them.
Yeah, but I would have, like, when the military buys things, right, they don't buy, like, just enough. Like, if they have 1 million men, they wouldn't buy 1 million packs of cigarettes. They'd buy, like, 5 million.
They'd buy 100 million.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's like, like when women, back in World War II, women used to just draw lines on their legs because silk stockings were unavailable or nylon stockings were unavailable because they used it to make parachutes and stuff like that. And, like, oh my God. Like pilot harnesses, but right.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they couldn't meet the capacity just to provide like nylon stockings, imagine like how many guys, smoked cigarettes, and not that many people in comparison,
But I guess what I'm saying is like nylon and silk had alternate uses for war.
Yeah.
Tobacco's tobacco.
That's a fair point.
So, and like I'm saying, the same amount of people essentially smoked in before and during and after.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it should, a chunk of it should have been diverted.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I haven't seen or read anything about how available cigarettes were at home during the war of primary brands. It's another thing to look into.
Have you ever come across a pack of old golds, like military old golds?
They're definitely advertised for soldiers, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the advertisements would say like mail them to them kind of thing. But I don't have any in this pile right here.
It'd be interesting to see because I've never actually seen a pack of old golds. Ever.
I have a whole bunch of cigarette ads coming. So next week we might take a look at those. I got 26 or 27 new ads.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait, at least 1 or 2 of those were collections of 4 ads. So I don't know, around 30 new ads.
Are there any Harley Davidson?
Most of them are cigarettes. There are definitely overlap motorcycle and
like Harley Davidson and Indian ads.
Yeah, I don't collect anything that has nothing to do with rations, but there was one that I didn't get that was in my cart when I checked out for all this, and then I didn't finish it in time. And that was a Camel's ad for the motorcycle corps in World War II. And it would have been a good one. We'll keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. Yeah, JW did give us an old gold advertisement. Mm-hmm. It's in the collection now, and I think I got 1 or 2 more. And thanks again for those, JW.
One day when I have $1 million to waste on something I'll never drive, I'll buy a 1943 Harley Davidson panhead U.S. military issue with a suicide shifter just to look at it. And I want the one that has the leather shotgun holster attached to the front fork.
For reaching down for it, like that?
No, right on the front fork, because most of the people that drove, those motorcycles were normally MPs, so they always had usually on the left side a brown leather shotgun holster, just buckled to the fork of the motorcycle. And it had like a fake sort of like wind visor on it that was just glass, and then like a leather sheet to sort of protect it. But it had a suicide shifter, which, bikes don't have anymore, but it actually had a clutch. But the thing is, you had to shift, let off the gas, and actually pull the clutch with your right hand. Otherwise, the bike would flip over. It's the bike that they drove in, in Band of Brothers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So those bikes are pretty cool. If you can find it with a sidecar. But, yeah. The German ones are pretty cool, too. Sidecar, could mount an MG42 on it, which I wouldn't want to fire that while the motorcycle was, moving.
Oh, no.
One bump and you kind of sawed through the whole bike. So, yeah. Flip this whole thing right now. Robert Sour Wine sent you more eggs. The same deviled egg.
Wait, what was that, Robert?
Right there.
Sent me eggs. Me? When? How? Where? Shall we watch
Where are the eggs?
I found 1 box of dehydrated eggs at home.
Well, we ate Southwestern omelet style eggs or something like that. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah. We had that freeze dried omelet.
Yeah, they were a little bit like, you definitely could see where some of the stabilizers separated, but it tasted like eggs, Stabilized. Oh, he sent them to Smokey. Never mind.
Got it. That makes more sense.
We don't deserve eggs.
Internet historian? Internet historian. I think so.
Sounds like a historian on the internet to me.
I guess I just learned something, guys. On the side of this, it says cigarette smoking is harmful to your health. Really?
So that must have been
this one right here says
the safer cigarettes.
Safe. Why would a pack of cigarettes from the 20s lie to me?
It's that. So that one's probably like right after.
That's Vietnam era.
Yeah, so that's probably right after the whole Reader's Digest, scandal. When Reader's Digest, they're the ones that announced that cigarettes were cancerous, and then,
Cigarettes kill 500,000 people a year in the U.S. So, I mean, it's a lot.
I know.
Oh, scanning. The ingoodening of... Wait, what?
The cost of Concordia?
I don't know what that means, Corey. I'm going to have to check it out. beaten goodening.
Are you talking the Costa Concordia? You know, the Italian cruise ship that fell over?
The Concordia, the one that like came up against the shore and slowly listed.
Yeah, the Italian captain had his girlfriend on him. He wanted to impress her, so he figured he'd do a float by, but didn't bother to turn on the under the ship's sonar, so didn't see this big, gigantic sort of, reef.
Sandbar.
Yeah. Well, the ship fell over. He got to land before everybody else, by the way. He's in prison now.
Yeah. That guy.
And
that guy's a piece of work.
Yeah.
He left the ship, and the radio communication between them was just.
Yeah, you can hear. So if you ever get a chance,
like, sir, you
get back to your ship or you're getting arrested. For those of you not familiar with like proper naval etiquette or maritime etiquette, but the captain is always the last to leave the ship.
Yeah, it's not
the first.
He's not forced to die on the ship, but
he just has to.
You don't leave
unless everybody is
immediately.
Yeah.
And just say, they got it. They'll handle it.
Yeah. Very interesting how they got that ship out of the water. They actually like welded big empty tanks under it and then flooded them with compressed air, and now the ship floated up and they were able to tow it out. But yeah, really cool sort of engineering how they were able to get that ship out of the water. That and like the Italian Navy cordoned off the area for like a solid year because divers were going onto it to try and.
I'm sure there was all kinds of stuff.
There's jewelry stores. There's there are vaults that carry cash on cruise ships. So, speaking of which, I got to send back some diving equipment. But anyway, it's sad that the captain allowed that to happen. I mean, that's just gross negligence. But yeah.
Man, I need to get camping soon. Old Smokey's talking about camping. I only got out a couple times last year, and definitely need to get out into the woods.
I want to go camping out in Roswell.
I'm thinking woods, streams.
Okay.
You mean you want to go camp just outside the boundary of Groom Lake facility? Oh wait, Roswell, New Mexico, not Groom Lake.
It's like a little 50s town, with aliens. Yeah.
I think there's a trailer court there, or a RV court there that you can camp at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the middle of an open desert.
I'm gonna stay at the Little Alien Inn. It's a real.
Is that a real place, or is that only in fall?
No, it's a real thing. It exists. It's called the Little Alien, and it's a motel.
That's not camping. Oh, I want to go camping.
For a night,
let me stay in a motel.
Let me stay in a motel.
It's my favorite camping.
West Virginia mountains, eh?
West Virginia is deceptively large. My sister's in Central Virginia. My mom's, my sister's in like North Central Virginia. My mom's in Central Virginia. And every now and then I'm down there. So I say to Smokey, like, oh, hey, one of these times when I'm visiting one of them, I gotta swing your way. And he's like another 7 hours away from them or something like that. It's a bigger state than I thought.
You know what's interesting? You know what you should do? You should make your own power armor and go camp out there.
Realistic to a T.
Like you wouldn't do that if you could. I would wear power armor and go camping.
There we go. One more box, and we have every example from the cigarette collection scanned. And I can feel slightly accomplished today. Granted, we don't have two-sided scans, and I'm not sure what I'll need to do to make that work properly, but we'll figure it out. Whew, this is the last one.
I'll be right back down. I missed a call.
Let's see, it's 8:15, so got a little bit more than a 3-hour stream out of this one, guys. Oh. Definitely starting to feel it. Gonna have another one of these. Ooh. I mentioned that Tootsie Roll. I will scan that as well. So, there really aren't many examples of this. There we go. So, this is a salt ration Tootsie Roll. That's ration salt individual. It was starting to mold, I believe, but it is not currently looking. No, wait, no, that one wasn't the one that was molding. That was just potentially a little too damp from what was from what else was in the rat that was going bad. So we're just going to scan this, and the desiccant that was in there did its job very well. So it is very dry, and it's going to go right back in with the oxygen absorbers when I'm done here. But then we'll have a good scan, and it can stay in good shape. Tim's chowing down on a Mountain House Chili Mac. Oh, nice. And a lemon lime beverage base. Bit by bit by bit. And one more time, out of frame. I definitely should have made more coffee. So next time we'll start out, we'll try, if he remembers that aerator, we'll try that frappe with the red mug. And then, then we'll have to try this Arabica. I mean, got choices for a while. Oh, we got another layer scanned. Going up above for the final. Now I know I have a couple other packs of ration cigarettes, but I think I have them with the rations themselves. So I've got the 20 pack, the regular packs. So I'll have to find them at some point and get them in here. The Tootsie Roll is from 1950, I believe. $1950-ish was the best guess at the time. So it's about 70 years old. Now, some of the candy bars from that era survive. Some of that kind of stuff survives, but a lot of it doesn't. Funny enough, though, like cream-filled cookies from the 20s survive just fine. This is a little dark. I hope it comes through clear enough. So it's using infrared to try and build a point map on this as well. So it's really neat overall. Yeah, this is the only time I've ever seen it with, the writing in that color, the labeling in that color, the gray and red and purple and all that. It's the only one I know like this. And it is a little, melty looking, but, like I said, it's stabilized and, the goal here is not to let it degrade any further. But I think it's still clearly a Tootsie Roll. Which, is in, a snack in U.S. rations up until at least the early 2000s. I don't know if they're still available in any of them. Does anybody know? Offhand, I know I could go dig up menus, but we'll have to check. Oh, and I think maybe it was last week or the week before, someone mentioned RCI spoons. I just wanted to show you guys, that's my RCI spoon collection right now. Quite a few of those. Oh, and there's also a mostly rust P38 and a mostly rust halide water purification setup or tablet bottle. I wonder if anybody just has these for sale once in a while, or if you got to get them as part of something.
Is this the last of our scans?
It could be, except I remembered the old Navy cut. I do want to get to scan both sides of this one. I'm going to keep it to the side for now. There's the malaria warning. That block out the light thing. If you're in a malaria zone, keep your shirt on and your sleeves rolled down. Use mosquito repellent when out of doors between sunset and sunrise. That's the one that I always can't help but laugh. There was a site that had translated that into Japanese, and then I translated the Japanese back into English with a tool like 15 years ago, before things got much, much, much better. And the retranslation was, malaria is wearing a shirt in the area. It rolls down the sleeves. Repeat drug use daily. So I always thought that was a very funny translation attempt. All right, winding down. This will be it, and then we will wrap up for the day. Oh, still got 11 folks watching. Wow. Corey says, "Don't end the stream while he's gone." Well, it's going to be a couple minutes at most, so that's where I put that piece of tape.
Tape on the table, it's a sticky situation. My jokes are horrible.
Let's see. Almost there.
Is this? Oh, this is chocolate.
Huh? That's a Tootsie Roll.
Oh!
You might have been
That's what that says.
Yeah, it's a unique looking Tootsie Roll, for sure. A couple more.
When's it from?
About 1950.
Have you eaten one of those before?
No.
Would you eat one of those?
They are super rare. I am not looking to be on the hook for one of those. Oh, wow, this is starting to get really hot, but, you know, to be expected. It's been acting like a full-on computer for 3 hours. Yeah, Tootsie Rolls, M&Ms, Skittles, combos, you know, that kind of stuff. It's important to morale.
We ate Army combos here.
We have.
There were combos. I remember when I was a little kid in school, we used to put together care packages to send overseas. Buddy of mine, we used to always send Swedish fish.
Nice.
Yeah. That, and you know what else was interesting that they asked us to send? And our teachers told us this. They asked us to send silly string. And the reason why is because a lot of, in urban warfare, a lot of doorways or booby traps with tripwires. And soldiers would use the silly string to spray it. And
see if it hangs on
would get
the wire.
hung up, yeah.
Interesting.
So we actually would send cases of silly string.
So let's see. This one isn't the best scan. I'm going to have to do something with the light. But you can still see Tootsie Roll. I mean,
it's not exactly a straight up shape at this point anymore, so I can see why the camera would have a problem with it. But it looks pretty good for what it is. Smokey said there's a great story about 50s Tootsie Rolls and the chosen reservoir.
Chosun?
Yeah, on eating history.
Oh, really? Okay. I must not have caught that one. Which makes me a jerk, because there were only like 10. I got to go back and see. I must have missed one. All right. That's all the scanning for today. We've got, see, just showing you guys, model-wise, what did we do today? Well, we got the Tootsie Roll, we got the Fleetwoods, we got the Pall Mall small pack, the Lucky Strike small pack, the white Newport's box, the regular Newport's box, the Philip Morris pack, the wider Lucky Strike pack, the Slim Marlboros, the little Call for Philip Morris ones, the Chesterfields, front and back of Camels and Pall Malls, broken ones. But yeah, we got all those cigarette packs scanned today. So success. I would call that a good day. To switch back. So gonna go ahead and sign off for this Sunday, Pi Day, 3/14/2021, bulletin number 34. I hope everybody had a great time. I sure as heck did. Thanks again to Yossi for a fantastic pick-me-up of a package. You'll be seeing bits and pieces from this over the next few weeks, because we're going to keep on digging in. But this was just a great episode. Great week. So I'm just looking forward to the next one and the one after that, and the one after that, and I'll definitely be sharing the scans soon. Another month or two, we'll get something figured out that you guys can go and load it up on a computer and start looking at these things. But in the meantime, if anybody has any questions or anything to share with us, email address is right here. We're getting closer and closer and closer to actually relaunching the website with some real content about what we're doing here and what our goals are in the short term, and bit by bit we're getting there. So stick with us, and we'll get this thing into a real museum someday. So we'll be back next week at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, and until then, stay rational, everybody.
Bye, everyone.